Hello, everyone. I am Dark Rilla. Welcome to the Coffee and Conversation podcast. Today, it is a multiple person one, as you can see here, as we have on the lower corner. First is the man, the myth, the legend himself, who keeps to himself, Devious. How you doing, good sir?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. And also in the other lower corner, right under me, as you can see, is Luna LaVinci. How are you doing, Luna?
I'm awake because I've had like a whole ass cup of coffee already.
All right, all right. And also next to me over here is the hero himself, the black man, that nigga, Delacroix. Yo, what's going on, boss man?
Not much. Tired.
All right, y'all. And as y'all can see here, got a whole lot of things, interesting things to discuss. And I know Luna got a lot to say. And we got Devious. Devious is a special guest. The man usually keeps to himself. So we might have to end up talking about his frustrations with battle passes, microtransactions.
Please don't.
Apple MacBooks, Nintendo Amiibos.
I don't want my first appearance on this podcast to be just an insane rant.
But wait, I'm actually interested in your opinion about Nintendo, though.
But that's what the kids like, Devious. They like to see.
I'm interested in hearing Devious's Nintendo take. I maybe we might have the same takes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think Nintendo is disgusting. Their litigiousness is a disgrace. The fact that they basically litigated one of their biggest fans to almost, well, they weren't blamed for this person's suicide, but yes, they harassed and harangued this poor bugger to. Apparently, he left his Switch where he took his own life. Nintendo gives zero fucks, and I don't know why they get love from people because they're a disgrace as a corporation. But they most definitely are just a corporation, and they should be treated as such. But that's a rather extreme point of view to start with.
I
I don't
mean,
think it's an extreme point of
It's
view. I just think
deserved.
it's
I mean,
yeah.
in that case, I would say, isn't it kind of justified that you feel that way, though?
Oh, everything. The business practices with amiibos, like uh, forced scarcity, they've been found only distributing certain amounts of amiibos to certain countries to force scarcity so people can't get hold of things. Now, here, well, my problem with amiibos isn't having a plastic statue of your favorite character, a high quality statue and figurine of your favorite game characters. I have nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's really cool. However, I have problems with what they do with those things. And because they enforce scarcity, you can't get hold of certain items in games, or they're just ridiculously priced. And as such, they get profiteered by scalpers and things like that too.
Like the guy who bought all the Rosalina.
Yes, like
That
that
actually
guy.
upset me because Rosalina
Yeah.
is my favorite Mario character, and this guy just bought every single one and was like, "No, I'm not going to sell them." He's not even going to resell them. He's just making a point.
How did he, wait, how did he buy every single Rosalina, though? I don't,
He had money.
I mean,
He
like,
had money.
as far as what
The same
exactly?
for the same.
He,
He bought all of the copies amiibos.
oh,
He bought
wow.
every single Rosalina amiibo on the market. Now nobody can have one except him.
Wow. That's,
Hmm.
That might not be the case because that story is something like 2 years old now. But just for the fact that it was even possible for that to take place, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
did,
I feel like they did the same thing with PS5 during COVID. where it was like, oh my god, nobody can get a hold of it. No one can afford slash find a PS5. So
I'm,
yeah.
yeah. At the same time, it's like I still can't. I will never be able to justify a PS5 buying one. That's my opinion,
Not right
though.
now. When they go down in price, probably. And when they have
It's,
more titles to play. I mean, right
I
now,
mean,
like, what? It's just Stellar Blade,
Stellar Blade and
what?
the new Final
and that's it.
Fantasy 16. That's
Whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
That's the
whoa,
only
That's
thing.
whoa,
about it. Whoa,
whoa,
whoa, whoa, whoa,
whoa.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
As a
We
as
we
a
got a
PS5
PlayStation fanboy
holder,
here.
it's not a fanboy. It's just that I'm gonna interject.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah,
state
that's
my
right. You play
I
Helldivers 2 on your PS
I
Portal,
I have a
and you
PS5.
disconnect constantly.
Yeah, because I'm in an area with shit service. I'm using the Wi-Fi on my
Playing on your
phone.
Portal.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm playing using the Wi-Fi on my phone. If I was using the Wi-Fi in the building, I'll be fine. But if I'm in a parking lot with a whole bunch of concrete and I'm playing on the cell phone, like
I was very
my
careful
phone.
when I said Portal.
Yeah, so a
I said
PS5,
Portal for a
PS5 has
reason.
a lot of titles. There's a
Like
lot of
what?
titles.
That's
Okay,
not a
so you,
PC.
that's not on PC. Okay, so you had Helldivers. Those are exclusive, but they had to port it to PC. You had Spider-Man 2. You had the new Tekken 8. You
That's
had
on PC.
Demon Souls remastered. You
Spider-Man 2
had
came to PC, didn't it?
no
Yes.
Spider-Man 2 has not released a PC yet. Spider-Man
Oh.
1 has.
Not yet.
Oh,
Okay.
one
Yeah,
has. I
because
got
the
One has.
confused.
exclusivity has not dropped as of yet.
Mhm.
You had the Devil May Cry 5 special edition that dropped exclusively for PS5. You had a whole bunch of other games. I'm not even naming the ones I have copies of right now.
Okay.
But there's a plethora of games on the system. Right now to say like, it doesn't make sense to own the system right now. Uh well, what's gonna happen is this. They're dropping the Pro, and when they drop the Pro, the regular one is gonna go down in price. But then you like, wait, the Pro has X type of things. Because what these companies do, what every industry does, they release a new fucking console, and this console does one more thing the other one doesn't do, and can put out something the other console doesn't do. So, for example, um, everything is like ray tracing, 8K, all this crap, right? No one has an 8K fucking monitor. No one has that just yet, unless they're like a huge streamer they sponsored. That's where you gonna get the best monitors. But everybody has what? What can you buy on Black Friday for dirt cheap?
Well, gaming in 4K hasn't really gotten to the point where it's feasible for most people. You need an
It hasn't.
ultra high-end system to game in 4K.
It
Yeah.
hasn't. But TVs, all the TVs right now, you could get 4K up, especially on Black Friday. So a lot of times these consoles are made for like like I would say not sure a gamer who plays on their TV a lot. But the thing is, like, as you get bigger TVs, the pixelates and all this stuff and all that crap. And we haven't seen, and all these game companies are too afraid to put a fucking game to be running 60 frames per second because I don't know why, because they want to retrofit everything.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, they want to hit the biggest, widest demographic to make the most money.
I
Because
also
it's
need
not
to
about making
qualify.
games anymore, it's about making money.
I also need to qualify my 4K statement. Native 4K, not upscaled 4K, because fudge factored 4K is more efficient than actual true rendering at 4K in 60 FPS. Personally, I don't think below 60 is native. You have to achieve 60, because when you drop frames at 60, it's still a good experience. You drop frames at 30, it turns into a slideshow.
Exactly.
So it
Yeah.
needs to be a high frame rate for me personally.
And piggybacking off of what you said about Nintendo, my gripe with Nintendo is this. They will release a game for, let's go to the Wii, or whatever was before the Switch. What was before the Switch? The Wii? Right?
Wii U, I believe.
Yes, I think the Wii was the most recent. Yeah.
Okay. So you buy a game in the Wii in the Nintendo market, right? You buy it in the fucking Nintendo market. They released the Switch, right? They released the
Well, it was
same
the Wii
fucking
U.
game on the Nintendo market, but they say, nope, it won't carry over to the new one because you gotta buy the new game. Nintendo will release the same fucking game 6 fucking times, and like idiots, we buy it. Why? Because we don't know any better. How many times I'm gonna play the same Zelda game, upscaled?
Um,
They,
Skyrim.
I don't play Skyrim.
That's my
Bethesda the same thing. Bethesda
that's
does the
my
same thing.
weakness though. That's why I'm bringing it up because it's literally exactly what you're saying, and I have bought Skyrim several times.
Yeah,
And Ubisoft.
and
Ubisoft
Ubisoft
have
does the
released the
same
same
thing.
game for a decade now, at least.
I mean, at this point, and then here's the thing: a lot of American companies are afraid, or very kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Very kind of like iffy about releasing original.
Apprehensive.
Yeah, apprehensive of releasing original IPs because
Mm.
they have to click all these fucking boxes. It has to have inclusion, has to have a female, has to have this character, has to have a black character, has to have this, has to talk about this. When every other country, when China or Korea releases a game that's like hot chick, hot guy, fight. That's
Make
it.
it fun. Yes.
Make it fun. But then people
Helldivers
complain.
too did
Peop
really well too because of that.
Yeah, Helldivers was the simplest fucking thing. 4 people go shoot shit.
Yes. Make
Original. It
fun.
was original. And they took it. And here's the thing: the first Helldivers game, no one played it. They had a player base of like a couple hundred people. Helldivers
Mhm.
2 was a fucking weird success, and they're like, "Oh shit, what the hell?" And it
Well,
worked.
it's
And it shows you how. It just shows you like how you don't need to have this immaculate fucking structure for a game. Keep it simple. Kiss it. Keep it simple. Stupid.
Yeah.
Like
I
Helldivers has a content constantly coming out. And what's the content? Here's a new Warbound that you don't have to pay money for. You can fucking farm their super credits in the game. You can go to the same level over and over and over, get the super credits to get the season passes for free. Um, General orders is just up weekly orders that you have to do. And then they still have shit that they didn't release. They're talking about releasing raid bosses and fucking another faction of aliens to fight. And people are still playing it. Why? The game came out when? Like in March, April, February or something?
think March.
Yeah, and the player base is still in the and still in the 6 digits or the five digits.
it's most
Five digits.
definitely not without its problems, but yes, it's an
Does it have its
incredibly popular
problems?
game and
One
full
hundred
and it's
percent, it
fun.
does. Yes. How fun is it to get on the game with your friends, shoot a whole bunch of bugs and shit, watch yourself blow up, and then be like, all right, I'm going to bed. Catch you guys later. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, very easy
How
drop in,
World
drop
did
out co-op.
I mean, I need more than that. I'm sorry. I just do.
Well,
I'm
I'm a simple man.
I, I mean, I don't mind doing it for a couple of rounds, but after that, I need some type of context or structure.
Yes, it's no Skyrim. You're not getting an incredibly immersive, expansive story.
it's not a game to get lost in. What it is a social game to play with your friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's fine. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that being as such, but I just know how I am.
Yeah,
Like,
you like single player. You're into that.
no, I like stories. I like a reason to go kill shit. Like that's why I can't get into Monster Hunter like everybody else.
Most story driven games are single player, like Skyrim.
Yeah. Uh, well, but see, I like the concept of Monster Hunter, but I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a story behind it. It's just here's a big
It does have
monster
a story behind it.
where that's actually worth talking about.
Monster Hunter, it has a huge story behind it. It has
Well,
different the islands and everything and the monsters that you're hunting. That
yeah.
story and lore and like ancient there's like ancient civilizations and everything and like stuff. Even the one what was the game was it Monster Hunter World that came out for PlayStation 4?
L- l-
Monster Hunter World was the biggest Monster Hunter hit.
Yeah.
That was multi-platform and well, it was big on PC anyway. It was big across the other platforms too. But yeah, it does technically have a story.
okay,
But
let me
it
ask
does
this.
revolve around
The
go here,
monsters.
punch big monster, get
Yeah.
resources, make
And
bigger
it's
weapons, rinse and
We want to
repeat.
discover more monsters. Oh, this monster's the ancient type and we never seen it before. Oh, this new monster controls all the other monsters because it's this and that. Like that's what
it
it
is
pretty
a
much is.
particular kind of grind for the armor though. I've
Mhm.
I'm not
Okay,
into it.
Della, let me ask you this: Have you played God Eater?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I have.
No.
Play God Eater, then come back to me and tell me the difference on my
I
side.
would is you're trying to compare freaking
It's the
metal
same
and
system.
a rock.
It's the same system though, except God Eater has a more better story. It actually
It
explains stuff.
that's but then you're talking about uh gripping stories. To say a game doesn't have you said the game doesn't have a story.
Okay, yeah, I did say that.
But you didn't say this game had a better story because then I could tell you, okay, Metal Gear Solid has a better story than half the games that come out in the past fucking 5 years. Right?
Depends on the game.
I can
What
say
game
that.
we talking about? What game we comparing it to? Metal Gear
The
does
I
have a
just said
hella fast story. Yes, I do agree.
games that came out in the past 5 years. What game has held up to the Metal Gear Solid story in the past 5 years? I will wait.
I will
It,
ask, which Metal Gear Solid story are you talking about? Because the first Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 pretty good. It kind of fell apart at Sons of Liberty and got a little bit weird. Still kept that weirdness up to
Yes.
Metal Gear 5.
But
Ground
Metal Gear-
Zeroes was basically a demo.
Yeah, Metal Gear 5 Phantom Pain was a prequel to Snake's Revenge, then the Telltale
Yeah.
games. So
Probably,
just
I
the
would
whole
say Elden Ring. Elden Ring won Game of the Year
yeah,
last
but
year. So, and it's extremely story driven.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's Elden Ring's story in a quick rundown. Lay on
I'm
head
saying
girls.
that's what my answer would be.
Lay head on girl's lap. Kill some big chick that runs everything. Become an Elder Lord. That's Elden Ring. There's
well, that's one linear path, but as an avid Soul player, you have the full story of any Souls game. It's not a straight line.
Elden Ring is
Never.
the only Souls game I actually like
no, and
because
I agree.
of how story heavy it is. And the way they tell the story is very unique. Compared to any other game made, compared to all the other Souls games, even, I would say it's very similar, but it has its own way of telling a story. And that's what I really like about it. And that's what I think, like, in the past 5 years, that is the game I would choose to be the most successful story driven game in the last 5 years.
In the last 5
Okay.
years?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's her answer. I would
that's
say,
my answer.
That's a pretty
Souls
good answer, really.
Soulsborne games. I'm saying Soulsborns. I'm not talking about copycats.
Thank you,
I'm talking
Devious.
Soulsborne game made by FromSoft, Miyazaki, and his team. Are all games that he wants you to freaking explore and find the story and read.
Yeah,
He
you have
makes
to read everything.
ha-
Just like in Final Fantasy, you have to read everything.
but the thing is not reading like the text. It's reading the text within the items and piecing together everything. It's like, here's my story. You piece it together now, and then when you think you know the story, like, oh, Bloodborne, for example. What is if has any of you guys played Bloodborne?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What is the story of Bloodborne?
Bloodborne is basically about like female horror. It's like all based around horrific things that happen to women and women ghosts, and I'm not really sure what the story is about. I played it like a long time ago when it first came out, but the visuals and the way the story is told is very unique, even from Elden Ring. It has its own way of visually telling the story instead of just handing it to you on a silver platter. They really make you work for the story.
So it shares the same commonalities with the other Souls-like games, where like embers and fire and things like that, and how there's a special type of thing, and it's the moving on of the old gods, and either recreation and destruction, or just making something new. And in Bloodborne, it is the blood,
Mhm.
whereas in
So
go on.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, finish.
I was just saying, sort of, whereas it is in, I forget the name of it, but it's embers and fire and so on and so forth, and that's the moving element, and how the universe is getting colder. Bloodborne has its blood and contaminated blood.
So with Bloodborne, when you first play the game, it's like you have a disease and you need pale blood to cure it, right? And you're in the city of Yarman during the hunt, and where everybody who is turning into beast, right? Then as you play the game, you start learning like, oh, the pale blood, the old blood, is the reason these people are turning into beasts. Then you start finding about insanity. People go crazy because they have eyes. So people cutting open their head and lining their brain with eyes. Then you start learning about the gods, the old ones. And the more you learn about the gods, the more crazy you go and see things, enlightenment and stuff. And you learn about people who blinded themselves just to see the god and be connected with them. Then if you play then you're like, oh wait, I'm in a dream. Is this all a fucking dream? No, it's not. Or is it? No one knows. To this day, I'm still trying to figure out the fucking Bloodborne story. All I know, I have all 3 endings, and I became a slug in the true ending. I became an old god. That's Bloodborne.
Nice.
That is Bloodborne's
Nice.
story.
And it's
Wow.
told in a very specific way through female body horror. There are some fight. There's one fight where you fight a widowed pregnant woman where
Yes,
she's just like bleeding out in her wedding dress, and it's horrific.
yeah, the Queen of Yarman. That is the Queen of
Yes.
Yarman. And
It's a really good game.
because her child was taken from her at birth because she was birthing an old god.
Mm.
But so she is right that a lot of the freaking stuff is around women and their like birth because you have to consume 3 umbilical cords to fight the moon spirit who comes down and like tries to impregnate you, the player, or pull the seed of a god from you and you kill it. It's just so fucking weird game.
What the hell? That's wild. I actually didn't know fully the full story of Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I
But
didn't.
now let's look at Nintendo games. Going back to
Mhm.
Nintendo and they're fucking just ripping you apart. How many times I'm gonna see the same Pokemon game? And I thought we
That's
ended
why
at
Power
200.
World did so well. Power World did so well because it literally did what all the Pokemon fans have been begging Nintendo to do for the last decade. And then some little indie team of like 12 fucking people made Power World, and it just exploded.
Wait, people
I'm not a
still play
fan
it?
of Power World. I'm not into Pokemon really, but I can understand why it did so well, you know?
Here's the thing, though. People even still playing Power World?
Yes.
Yes
Mm,
and no.
yeah, young people are playing it, but it's, you know, it's like every other early access game. It's not finished yet, and it probably won't be for like 6 years.
Star Citizen. Is Star Citizen finally out?
I think
Star-
they actually made an announcement recently that they are going to be wrapping things up.
Yeah. How long that game's been out?
Like a
It's not been
decade.
out. It's been in early access.
Okay. How long
Squadron
has that
40.
shit been early access, Devious?
Oh yeah, it's something like 8 years now, if not more.
8
Yeah.
fucking
Squadron
years.
40.
Better
Squadron
half of a decade.
Squadron 42 is the solo campaign, like because it's going to be an MMO as well. It's going to be like Elite Dangerous and things like that, and have an open universe. But the solo campaign, the actual story of it, I think that's been finished now.
Did
But
they
the game, yes, still isn't released just yet.
did they change that system? Like if you buy like a ship, like you buy like you could buy like a $500 ship, and once the ship is destroyed, that's it. It's a wrap. You don't get that ship again.
There's insurance. It's.
Oh, so you
I
gotta
think
pay
there's
for
going to be a
insurance?
risk-reward aspect to it, and I'm not the best
Mhm.
person to ask about this, but you don't lose your ship permanently.
But
Yeah,
how
it
much
And
is the
used
the
to be
weird
insurance?
thing
that
about
way.
the weird thing about a $500 ship is the way they've made the game. So that they are asking for a price for this, that because everybody that's going to buy it has already bought it, or has already bought a ship, or has already done something in it. So that's why the base price of the ships is like $30 and things like that, the lowest price. so that you can get a ship and you can get in game. That's your
Yeah,
price of entry. So that's what the game costs,
yeah,
technically
but then you
speaking.
could buy like a
Riddler's
luxury ass
look on
ships.
the
Oh yeah,
Riddler's
you
face.
could buy some like liner or something like that.
It's
That
like a ship
like
that's like 20
a
grand,
full
isn't it?
16 people. Oh yeah, God yeah.
Yeah.
But like I say, that's the
Now
way they're
there's
financing the game. That the public are the investors, not Warner
a
Brothers or
problem.
Ubisoft or whatever.
What'd you
Now
say? That
there's a
was a
problem in video games. Whales.
what?
Mhm. Wales.
But that's
Whales.
their target audience
I
sometimes.
mean,
Like,
here's the thing though. I'm
They make up for some games, they make up like 90 something % of the income for games.
Marvel Snap.
I mean, as somebody who's okay with play to win due to various reasons, I understand there being whales in the game. I get it.
It's not that they're in the game, it's that they ruin the game.
I mean, okay, let me explain it like this. And I've explained this to several people because as a pay to winner myself, I'm okay with pay to win because I don't feel like it's okay for a person with no life who does nothing but live off their mommy and daddy's credit card to be better than me just because they're a no lifer living off their mommy and daddy's credit card.
Well,
So,
that's why I don't
That's
mind
called a
pay to
skill
skip.
gap. That's called a skill gap, my friend.
nah, that's not a skill
Get good.
gap. Nah, that's
That's
not
good.
a
that's
skill
why I
gap.
don't mind pay to skip, Riddler. So
Pay to-
like let's say you work a blue collar job, you do shift work. So you're working sort of like 10 to 12-hour days, big roughy tufty man job. And you only get the weekend to game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have disposable income, but someone's put a grind wall in the game that you like that causes you to play like 100 hours to unlock something.
Yeah.
Like 100 hours when you only play at a weekend, that's going to be a year before you can unlock the thing that you want to get. And that's completely unfair. That's holding your time to ransom. That's why I don't mind pay to skip, which is buying the battle pass, so to speak. Get that accelerated skip through your battle pass levels and things like that. If you've got the finances, then pay for it. But that then brings in the ethic question of, well, aren't developers just going to hold people's time to ransom so that they do pay? And that's very true. They will do that.
Yes.
The thing is, they're starting to see this like. So you just use a perfect example, like people who work jobs and stuff, like don't have the time anymore, right? So they would do that. So a lot of developers are starting to see like a lot of people don't have time to game, so they're trying to make things like very just like it's quick, you're done. So
Condensed, yeah.
somebody like me, like I have Final Fantasy Rebirth and the other games, I like have like no time to play it. I have uh uh what's that? Ronin. Something of the Ronin. Blade of the Ronin or whatever. Shadow of the Ronin. New game PS5 exclusive, right? I play it when I have time, but there's a lot, right? So but a game like Marvel Snap or League of Legends, I could get on, play real quick, and be done. So a lot of people start to see like the older generation, like older gamers, after a while, they don't have the time to play games. Like they don't have the time to sit there and grind through things.
Yeah, because it's not
So
like Red Dead Redemption and Witcher and stuff. Like it's not like this one playthrough that you can pick up anytime and then continue when you get home, or
yeah,
play in the morning a little bit, play in the evening a little bit.
Yeah.
Everyone's already outpaced you in a particular game, and they're starting to actually like make games like this with this model, with this type of catering to whales. A lot of people believe that sexism and all that bullshit killed Blizzard. World of Warcraft, whales killed that game. Whales.
Forspoken is a good example of that.
and you know what? Who else killed that company? It was like tourists, casual gamers.
Yeah. That's what they call minnows. So there's whales and then there's minnows. And minnows are the ones that, just kind of I'm a minnow with certain games. I was pretty bad with Black Desert Online for a little bit there. I'm pretty sure I dropped like a couple hundred into that game. which is
Whales,
ridiculous.
dolphins, and minnows.
Black Desert
Yeah,
is
it's kind
worth
of
it, though.
ridiculous when you think about it.
Black Desert is worth it, though.
It's such a beautiful game.
Yes, it is.
I feel
I play
It's so
it.
pretty. I like
You-
making waifus, but you don't need to pay money to make waifus in that game. You don't need to actually spend money on anything in that game to enjoy it. And that's kind of like the issue, right?
Yeah.
The problem with whales is that they break the game for everyone else, including minnows, including people who cannot really afford to keep up with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then playing at your own pace just kind of that's not fun. You want to play when you're playing a game like Black Desert Online that is an MMO, it's a community game. You want to feel like you are one with the crowd, that like you are up to snuff with everybody else, and that's just not the case with pay to win and whales combined. And then when you throw loot boxes into that mix, now you're asking for planned obsolescence. I call it the light bulb effect
it,
because they did it with the light bulb, and now they're doing it with video games.
to piggyback off what you said real quick, we got a question too.
Hmm.
As far as Black Desert is, to me, my only legit general gripe with Black Desert is, it's like, okay, wow, yeah, you can be in a party and do stuff. At the same time, all the main stuff you have to do in that game, you have to do by yourself. There's like really no like big raid party kind of stuff. Everything else is just like the main content for you to actually get the stuff you need in that game. You have to do by yourself. Like it literally forces you. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like it. So past like guild battles and just random like world bosses here and there, you're pretty much that whole game is just pretty much you by yourself. Honestly.
Mm.
That's the other thing, my only gripe with Black Desert. But okay, here's a question. Not to cape for whales here, but don't they help the developers upgrade and evolve their respective games?
No,
No.
No.
they upgraded and evolved it for the whales to get more money. Okay, so I'm gonna use Marvel Snap as a perfect example. They released two different like sets. So one set where you buy, you get like 1,000 gold, a variant of a card, and 3,000 collector's tokens. Like 1,000 collector's token. It costs 24.99, right? Now for 24.99, also you'll get two variant cards, 3,000 collector coins, and no gold, right? Which one's the better option for you now? Two variants and something like and like they constantly keep doing it. Now they have this system where you have to now if for every you could put $5 a month and you'll get 100 gold every day. Instead of getting 50 gold a day, you'll get 100 gold a day, plus you get additional 100 for buying into it. So you get 200 first buy-in and stuff. So like everything is just about it just becomes about money. And there's like, oh, you want this new card variant? You gotta use gold to buy it. If you don't have enough gold, you gotta buy gold using real money, and then so forth and so on. Oh, if you want new cards that come out, because every Tuesday there's a new card that drops based on the season battle pass, you can get it. But the only way you can get it is either you have collector coins or you get keys. You can't buy the keys. You got to play the game and grind to get the keys. Or you could buy gold, buy tokens to buy the collector's points to upgrade the cards to increase your level to get the keys.
That's a really good point. The in-game currency that has been implemented into games is pretty much a side effect of whales. I
So
would
Because
say.
somebody,
So
somebody like me,
instead
I,
of just spending cash, instead of just taking your bank card and being like, yeah, I'll buy that outfit, you instead have this in-game currency that you then spend. And then you buy packs like these like aura points in Dead by Daylight. You buy fucking say 500 for like $4. But then you get the item is like 300 aura points. So then you're left with 100 aura points just sitting there on purpose.
That sounds kind of personal.
Well,
is
I'm
on
using
purpose.
it because I've played Dead by Daylight, and it's the easiest like sample for me to pull out of my butt right now. But it's not just Dead by Daylight, and when you think about it, it's kind of weird that a horror game has in-game currency and microtransactions.
Okay, so now that we've touched on that topic, we should discuss how games are made and the different ways they're made. So the most common and the most popular is what people now call pay to play. So you have a game, you pay the money, and you get to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
What's becoming more popular now is example things like freemium. So premium game that you pay money for and you pay extra money for, but the freemium is a very mobile centric game. So the game is free, but it comes like loaded with 11 million microtransactions, like your example, Dell, where you can buy gems, buy gold, buy gems to use on the gold, to upgrade the gold to something else, to then use a converter to then convert it to cards to upgrade the cards, and all that kind of crap. All that's been very common in mobile phone games on the mobile market, but has only started gradually come over to the rest of our consoles and PCs. And the reason for that is developers have realized that you can just make more money. If you give someone the option to buy something, some people will buy it. Now, this is where whales come in. So, and the whole demographic between whales, dolphins, and minnows. These people, whales they will spend an inordinate amount of money on your game just to be the best, just to get the most stuff, just to have every item, just to have all of the cosmetics. They will go to the nth degree and pay you and buy everything that you produce. And going
like
on to
down
production
payments
just
on
after
houses and shit. We're
Yeah.
talking like
Dolphins are people who will pay occasionally. Let's say once or twice a month. They will pay a good chunk of cash, maybe a DLC that costs 20 or 30 bucks rather than the $1 or $2 that your skins cost. And minnows are the people who just buy the occasional skin. And as Luna put up, they're priced specifically so you are left with leftover credit. So it's always sitting there going, well, I could just buy this thing and I've already got 100 credits, so why not? It's all very manipulative but basic
it's
marketing
insidious,
strategy.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
agree. It
insidious.
is.
That's why I stopped playing Dead by Daylight in general. It was personal because I found the math to be quite
Not mathing.
insidious.
No, it is. But that's why you can't normally spend all of your cash, just so that you have some left over. So you're tempted to get another purchase, to buy those premium currencies. Now, do they, as Melina asks, do they help develop a game? In my experience, I've only worked on one game, but in my experience, no. Simply because the game is already developed. All of the hard stuff, where the coders have come in and the artists have come in, all of the big work has already been done. And if people aren't planning 1 year of content down the line, they aren't making games in the modern way of making games, because everything that you make already has DLC planned for it, if not completely created and then removed from the game in order to be added later to be sold to you. This is just a normal factor now of game development. The scant few developers that actually make like a production line. They employ all the people because they're all subcontracted. They come in, they make the game, they make the art assets, they make all of the things, and only later, maybe Will they add more things where they will get another artist in? For example, Dell's game, where they're going to need some more card art, a couple of explosions or something like that. Not big things. These are very tiny cosmetic things. So do Wales develop the game? Unless it's an early access game, almost never. If it's an early access game, yes, I think that's a very valid argument, and Wales do help develop games. But if the game's been finished, it goes into sort of what's called a maintenance mode, essentially. So that's the minimum amount of work needs to be, the minimum amount of resources need to be put into a thing to keep it running. Because you aren't making profit on it anymore. All your sales are your profit. And once people have bought it, they're not going to buy it again. But you can sell them microtransactions. They're not going to buy a second game normally, unless it's Skyrim, where it gets released 12 times. But that aside, they're not going to buy a second game, but they might buy a microtransaction. But that doesn't go towards development. That goes towards profit because the game is already finished.
That's
Well, I remember my earliest pay to win. It was a game called Yu-Gi-Oh! And you go down to Chinatown and you buy the cards you need for your deck. You put in like you spend like over like $300 to have the perfect deck, and next thing you know, the whole fucking deck gets banned.
Yeah, that happened in Magic a lot.
that.
So
A lot
pay
of
to win
cards
is
would
not
get
only in
knocked
games;
out.
it's in fucking real life too.
Bruh,
Well, I think there's a big difference between having something physical and paying for air. Because at least you have the cards and you can always find a collector who will buy them from you
Yeah, but the
because it's
thing
a
is, there's a
physical
scarcity of the
asset.
card.
not like you want all of these.
Yeah, but you can, see, you can, there's always
Riddler's
somebody
collection.
out there that's going to be willing to buy it, especially if you use eBay or Craigslist. Somebody is out there waiting for you to sell that shit because it's
Oh yeah,
physical.
I mean, I just
But you
found out that
cannot do that with digital goods.
I got that.
yeah, that's why I found out like I got a fucking
Nice.
the original copy of Fortnite I have is worth $5,000. So
No.
Third.
I'm like,
See?
oh shit, this
Physical
game I
shit.
got for like this much is worth this much now.
Wait, y'all play
Sure,
Magic
why
in the
not?
Arena?
This is a very good reason why I started oil painting physical paintings again. As much as I enjoy the quickness and convenience of digital art and making it, I do use it to do my mock-ups still, but I've completely dedicated my time to making physical paintings again because of that reason.
Wait, y'all brought up Magic. Y'all play Magic at the Arena?
I brought
I
up
used to play
Magic,
it.
and no, I don't.
Man,
I used
I
to
only
play it.
play Commander and very rarely.
it's Commander's not on there, unfortunately. Trust me.
Yeah, I know because everyone's a bitch.
I'm familiar with it, but I don't play it.
Best thing about Commander is it's 100-card deck, and you can just have so much fun building a deck around a theme
Yeah.
and mixing and matching themes. You can literally tell a story by just making a deck in Commander, and that's what I like about it so much. But I
You're not
mostly
wrong.
just did Magic to kind of make alt art cards because collectors pay a buttload of money for alt art cards. It's insane how much money they will pay an artist to just fucking deface a card. It's crazy.
Really?
It is crazy. So
Do,
they'll pay like hundreds of dollars for a single card
do you
for
have
you to
any?
just put not in the room with me right now, but yeah, we have between me and October, we have tons of cards.
No, I mean like art of Magic cards that you've drawn.
I have some. He has some that I've made for him.
Okay.
I did some swamps. I did Druna. I did with the moon behind her. I put the moon behind her instead of her having this weird black altar. I put her standing in front of the moon.
You need to You need to show that off sometime. That's serious.
I will
I got a lot
try.
of like collector comics that you're never like worth. Like I have like when the first Civil War first started in Marvel, I have the original series of that. Like Spider Man, I have the issue of Spider Man where he revealed to the world that Peter Parker's Spider Man. Have the World War Hulk, Marvel Zombies 2, Deadpool when it was re released multiple times. I have the Ant Man series that was Eric O'Grady. It only
Do you
lasted
have the
12
Death of
issues.
Superman? I have that one.
Death of Superman is worth a shitload of money.
Yeah, that's the only comic I really have that I think is worth money.
I
I
think the
have
only true collector's thing that I own is Deadpool on PC, because that got delisted because when it was released by High Moon, Sony didn't have the rights for it. But as soon as Sony acquired the rights for it, that then made an IP, because Sony controlled the whole of the Marvel franchise kind of thing. So that made an IP issue. So High Moon could no longer make money from their game without giving it all to Sony first. So it just got delisted from Steam. And so now the game technically doesn't exist anymore because you can't
Got
get it
PT.
anywhere.
You
I
said
think
this.
that's the only thing collector's item that I own.
You said it's original pool for PC.
Yes, Deadpool.
I didn't know that even existed. I knew there was a Deadpool game. I didn't know it was on PC though.
Yeah, Deadpool by High Moon Studios. That was before Sony bought the movie license and the IP, which, yeah, unfortunately meant that they couldn't release the game anymore. Well, sell it. People who own the game still keep it, but they couldn't sell the game anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what happened with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. It was either 2 or 1. One of them is you can't get on Steam no more. I actually have it though.
I think I have Ultimate Alliance on PlayStation, the original. I think I have to. I think I have it. Let me check.
I know I
Time to
got.
go into my closet.
Are you serious? This dude really? He might have it in. This dude really said
I'm
it.
serious as a heart attack.
Okay, that's interesting. Like that
I
is.
did remember many, many moons ago I had the Final Fantasy VIII box. The full kind of, back when PC games were released in what were basically cereal boxes. They were huge boxes. They came with like posters and maps of the world and stuff like that. I had one of those. Apparently that would have been worth a lot of cash now, but that got abandoned years and years ago, decades.
I still don't understand why 8 gets the hate it does too. That's another thing.
Story was a little bit nonsensical. It was little bit low effort.
I could see that. I mean,
But
it had a hell of a card game though. I will admit that. I like the card game. Like
Triple Triad.
Mm-hmm.
I have Batman
Loved
Arkham City.
loved me Triple Triad. Oh shit, nice.
Oh wow. See, Della got that shit put up. He be low key hiding shit.
see, with running around in the Navy, I couldn't carry boxes with me, so all the boxes got abandoned, and I've just got like those old accordion CD wallets and things like that.
Yeah.
I've got those filled with games where I had to write in permanent marker the CD code to authorize the game.
Oh my god.
All that's written on them in black marker.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, that's the one. It's either that one or the second one that you can't even get on PC now.
I think I have the second one too.
Dude.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, okay. Here's my thing with like I liked 8. I really didn't like 9. I don't know why. It's just something about 9 just threw me off. I just could
Well,
not.
they went for the whole chibi art, and once you'd gone from 7 to 8, or am I thinking about 10? No, 10 it goes back to the sort of like real people kind of looking thing. Yeah, it was a bit of a culture shock.
Yeah, I even have the original Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Good
Nice.
condition.
Those, I was gonna say those don't even look open. You
'Cause I
got pla-
take care of my shit.
you got plastic on that shit still?
No, the plastic is off it. I just take care of these shit.
Oh,
These are holographic still too.
wait. Show the disc. Show the disc, Mister. I take care of my shit.
Now the other
The
side.
other side.
Is-
Come on. Yeah, that's yeah.
yeah, that's not too bad.
I'll take it. I would take it definitely.
I always hated lending games to my friends because it looked like they, when I get them back, it looks like they'd sanded down a wall with my discs. I used to hate lending
I
my
still have
games
the
out.
books and everything in these games too, bro. I have like everything still in these games.
That's wild.
In fact, I even bought one of those dumb CD polishers.
I did too. I did too. I had a it was a handheld one they had. All you had to do was go to disc on now, and then you turn to this little thing, and it was supposed to like
Yeah.
take the disc off. I can't think of the name of it for the life of me though. I had one of them at one point.
Yeah, so many of my discs got wrecked by lending them to my friends that, yeah, I had to, had to buy one of those.
It worked.
Hey, yeah, it did.
But that this dude got a
The
whole
optical version of blowing on the cartridge.
He said the optical version.
Now I'm just looking like old ass Yu-Gi-Oh cards I have. I have Mirror Trap, Magical Hats. Like, jeez, I didn't even know I had half these cards.
Bro, you probably
I
be
still
this-
have I have a holographic Graceful Charity, holographic Trap Hole, Donzalug, Relinquish, Thousand Eyes Restrict.
Bro, I would run old school Yu-Gi-Oh with you.
My God.
Dead serious.
I have like tin cans full of common cards. Tin cans.
Yeah, 'cause I see all the hollow shit. That's cold. Dead ass.
Yeah.
That dude got shit for days up in there. Hold on.
But do you have Blue Eyes White Dragon?
That's a good question.
Which version?
Holographic.
Yeah, but which version?
There's
Okay.
like 3 different
Original
versions.
The
release?
OG one. The original one.
No.
Dell, did you buy the deluxe edition of Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, I did not.
Shame.
That's a Blassian act. She wanted to know that.
I have the Mew card from the Pokemon movie. The first Pokemon movie that came out.
Dell has a Kingdom Hearts tattoo on his chest, like right over his heart.
Do you really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a no, but I have the heartless symbol on my chest. I have unopened boxes of magic cards. Like,
You need to hand them over.
I got a lot.
Really should have got some gaming tattoos rather than the Gash Sailor tats that I've got.
I want one. I just ain't figured out which one I want yet. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I've been meaning to get one. And the other thing is, there's nothing that really. I wanted one representing Cosmos, but there's nothing. I got to figure out something I would do in regards to that, because I love Cosmos with a passion. If anybody knows who knows, that's like Cosmos is God tier to me. I have crackhead Sora on my right leg, and I want to get Roxas on my left.
five.
Really?
High five. High five.
It's just interesting to be how gaming just evolved over the years. Like,
I think it's devolved.
It's the same as anything.
you say it devolved.
I mean, I remember back in the day when you had a 3DFX Voodoo 5 card, and putting a second card in your system actually genuinely doubled the performance. But performance now comes in such small stages that when you SLI, when you get a second card and you put it in your system, it's actually SLI has been reduced so much to the fact that it does non-time sensitive tasks. So where your primary card would originally calculate physics objects, well, now it doesn't. The second card calculates the physics objects, and they're not required as fast as the frames are. So even putting a second card in your system for an extra $500 to $1,000, you're only going to get a minimal improvement these days. Even to the extent that they started separating out the screen. They've tried multiple different ways to get a real performance improvement. But because syncing the cards and the frame generation is proving to be a little bit too tough, that even the slightest little wait time causes fracturing and splitting and tearing of the screen.
I actually did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's just calculation problems and how to do the thing that you're already doing, but do it more efficiently.
Would you say it's like, how can I ask this? Does it make said like game like, would you say it make it like lackluster due to that? Well, diminish the value of it.
Well, technically, the reason why they didn't go ahead with these technologies is because rather than just increase the performance, it just introduced more problems. So if you can imagine card 1 and card 2, doesn't matter what they are, but card 1 renders the top half of your screen and card 2 renders the bottom half of your screen. So what happens when card 2 just drops a frame or two? Card 2 is then now burdening card 1 because card 1 must wait and sync with card 2. So you actually end up making a slower, worse experience, even though you split the task up 50%. So it's all in the way it's calculated.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's why SLI now, these days, is just non-time sensitive tasks like physics rendering and things like that, rather than actual frames displayed on screen.
What would be, in your opinion, the best way to deal with that, though? If it had to stay with that system, at least.
Well, the best way is the easiest way, which would be to split the task up. But much smarter people than me at Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, and all the places couldn't solve that problem or couldn't solve it well enough. So, yeah, splitting the load between the two cards would be the best thing, the absolute best thing. It would be just like putting a second engine in your car. The first engine doesn't need to work anywhere near as hard. And why not? Because that's what trains do. There's multiple engines on trains.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's applying basic engineering to this problem. Sadly, I'm just not smart enough. So, if I was to say one thing would be the best way, it would be out of ignorance.
Okay, so let me ask this then. Say I wanted to get two of the same graphics card, put it in the same system. It would do more harm than good for my PC.
No. Well, actually, yes and no. Because you take twice the power, so you're going to need a more expensive power supply.
Okay.
So you run into the issue of you may introduce more problems. The fact that many games just don't natively support SLI. I know when I ran SLI, I had tons of crashes. But that's the price that you pay for that extra performance. And the fact that having to run, so when your card creates a frame, it has to go through the PCI Express buffer, technically to the CPU, to go, this needs to be synced at this time. The second card also needs to go, yes, I'm ready now, and here is the frame, and deliver that to the CPU, and the CPU goes, right, display the frame. That, well, they came up with their own expansion. That's what I don't know if you've ever seen them, but on the sides of NVIDIA cards, they made their own express port, so the cards could contact one another directly rather than wait for the sync from the CPU. Because as soon as you put a second card in the system, if you're using the PCI Express lanes, then you're waiting for the CPU, and then you become CPU bottlenecked.
So the CPU.
It's not easy, and it's quite complicated, and smarter people than me have tried to solve the problem.
See, here's the thing, because as somebody who's never had a NVIDIA GPU at all, never have. I would actually no, take that back, because it is as you said. You would need a bigger power supply, because even if I put two AMD GPUs in here, that I still would run into that problem, needing a bigger power supply to run it.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't that just be overkill at that point, though? Honestly.
Well, all of it is, but I mean, that's why people market their PCs as enthusiast grade now. So like the 90 series, the Titan cards and things like that, speaking from NVIDIA, those were enthusiast grade cards where you paid all of the extra money for 10% more performance. But for some people, the biggest performance is what they want. They just don't want a PC that isn't going to run their games, so they buy the biggest, fastest card. And I can understand that.
Yeah, true. Definitely. But just for 10% though? Like, I mean, I guess on paper it doesn't sound like much. Maybe it's just me, maybe that matters a lot, but 10% on paper doesn't sound like much to me.
Well, it's not. I mean, but in anything you get what they call the rule of diminishing returns. I mean, even in cars, you know, any car that you buy today will do 80 miles per hour, even a shitty Toyota Prius. It will kill itself at 80 miles per hour, but it will do it. Whereas if you want to double that speed, well, now you're talking about a sports car. 160? Now let's say you want to hit the 200 mark. Now you're talking cars in the millions. Koenigseggs. High-end Ferraris, so on and so forth. So the diminishing return still comes in all of these forms. But people are willing to pay that extra price for that performance.
Well, see, I've also noticed this, though. A lot of people are willing to pay for said thing, but then don't want to have to deal with the problems that come along with that. So I'm pretty sure, like, each level, I'll say, that you just said does not come without its own set of problems along with it.
Yes. For example, things like Quad SLI. Quad SLI has never officially been supported. That's having 4 cards in one PC, all interlinked. That's a possibility, and you will get the best frame rates and the best benchmarks that anyone else can get, but that's going to cost you for the price of 4 graphics cards. I don't know about you, but I can't really afford 1 graphics card these days, let alone 4 of the fucking things.
But my question would be, why would you need 4 graphics cards?
Why not? Don't say.
Well,
The question is not why you need it.
I
Why
mean,
not?
like,
it's because
why?
you can.
Well,
If you've
yeah.
got that kind of cash, it's because you can. I remember asking my dad when I was a kid, like, why do people buy these, like, massive cars that, like, guzzle all this fuel and can go 200 miles an hour? He just turned and looked at me and said, well, if you can afford that kind of car, you can afford to put the fuel in it. And that instantly enlightened me. I was like, well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Of course they can afford to put the fuel in it. And if you can afford 4 graphics cards and are willing to put up with the headaches that will inevitably arrive from troubleshooting 4 things instead of troubleshooting just 1 thing, and the bespoke drivers that you would need for Quad SLI,
Yeah.
but it's all about having, well, much like the fastest car, the fastest PC.
I mean, yeah, and I totally get it. I guess this is like me in a personal viewpoint. It's just like at some point it's just like I'm a big believer in just okay, at this point you're just spending money just because you have it versus you know what I mean, versus just because you want it, if that makes sense.
Well, that's very much down to the individual, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I said it's kind of like a personal. That's just
Yeah.
like a personal viewpoint because it's just like at some point, like yeah, just because it like how can I say this? Blah 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 blah. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Let's go with that.
Who was that evening talk show host who's famous for his cars? He's retired now. Jay Leno, is it?
I think so.
Yeah, Jay Leno. He's got he's got an entire museum of cars, like, and just like epic things like the Shelby
Leno, yeah.
Cobra and things like that.
Like he has got like a lot of like old school collector
Oh,
cars.
yeah.
We
That's
call
like
those hot rods.
vintage fucking cars. Like some people don't understand. Like you can buy those. Like if you could buy those old cars for like dirt cheap sometimes. Like they're just a fucked up car. You can go to a lot and see. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna buy this, and they put in thousands of dollars to fix that car up to get it to run and restore it,
Yeah.
and then they sell it for millions,
Yeah.
fucking
Crazy.
millions.
If you have the skill and you have the original parts and you can do what's required to bring that thing back to its former glory, then yeah. I mean, there's a few people that have done the DeLorean. So from Back to the Future, which was an Irish-built vehicle made out of crap steel and spit and hope and superglue. Is basically what the DeLorean was, even though it was sold as a supercar. Yeah, and doors. Trying to get hold of doors for a DeLorean is, you're going to be paying tens of thousands of dollars just for a door, like secondhand scrap. But yeah, it's a thing.
I actually thought that car was actually built from the ground up. No joke.
No, the DeLorean was a production car. They didn't produce very many, but it was a production car.
Wow, I actually did not know that. I literally thought they just came up with the concept, hey, we're gonna make this car look like this, and just went with it.
Well, obviously there was a lot of bells and whistles on the Back to the Future car.
Yeah, of course, totally, definitely. It's like, and like Della said, like it's a lot of vintage cars now that you see that even where I live at right now is just they'll take to a Memphis car show and that'll be the only time you ever see it. But they all like part of clubs and stuff like that where they take a month off. But this is older cats I'm talking about now though. They just take a month off. They'll go cross country, to a random car show, just show off their cars. They're like the only time they pull them out is during car shows. If not, it's sitting in the garage.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's covered and they taking care of it.
Yeah,
Taking care of it. It's like
yeah.
it's just a collector's item at that point, and that's for the that's a different that's a different type of like, we could collect cards, fucking video games and shit. These motherfuckers got on a different level. Some people collect watches. There's watches.
Yeah.
There's like one watch there's only five were made in the world. Only five were made in the world because they're made out of some weird material and it took the guy a certain amount of years to make it because it could align with the moon and some shit. So there's only five in the world. And the watch costs fucking like 5 mil. Why? Because why the fuck not? Because there's somebody gonna buy it. There's a market for everything, and there's like some art. There's like that canvas with a fucking banana on it, duct tape to it.
Mhm. Yeah.
That shit sold for millions of dollars.
There wasn't even a
Mhm.
canvas. It was just a banana duct tape to the wall.
Yeah, Bansky. Did you know if you have original Bansky, how much is
Banksy.
Banksy?
Banksy. Yeah.
Shut up,
Banksy.
Banksy. Do you know how much it's worth?
Yeah, it's worth a lot. Yeah.
Do you ever watch like the documentary when he was doing this stuff in New York, and he had a guy he had it in Union Square. He had a regular guy who was selling art, was selling his original art pieces. The guy was selling them for like $20 each, right? $20 for a fucking his art that's like probably like this big, like a frame of his art like this
Right.
big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, print.
$20 a pop, right? Maybe get a little
Yeah.
bigger, $50. One guy bought like two of them, right? He didn't know what he was buying. He was like, okay, it looks cool, buy it. He's selling a couple $1 million and he's not letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine paying $5 for something and it's worth millions?
Another famous prank that Banksy pulled was he allowed one of his original artworks to go to auction, but upon where the hammer fell, apparently there was a remote trigger which shredded the art.
What the hell?
But apparently it was worth even more after the shredding.
Exactly, because it was his art. And to this day, nobody knows what the fucking guy looks like.
Really?
Because it's not. I guarantee you, it's not a guy. It's a group of men. It's a group of
Really?
people.
Probably.
I
No one knows
believe.
what no one looks like the artist looks like. And that one makes the art even more valuable.
Yeah, because it's not. Art's not ever really been about the art. It's always been about the name attached to the art. Not always. I think galleries really kind of hold a lot of sway in that industry, but it's really but one big like money laundering scheme.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
I
Oh,
mean, I can see value.
100% for sure. Because the thing about art is that there's no inherent value to art.
Hmm.
You can make a piece of art and it can be worth anything you want it to be worth. And it's also essentially useless. There's no real function to art. It's just a picture. So you can put any value on it you want to as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so you could take one of your art pieces right now, just run it up to a gallery, say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make this worth, let's just call
Yeah.
it the auction starting at like 10 million.
Well,
And it might run.
You might want to, like, someone like me should be a little more reasonable because I'm not well known. Someone
Yeah.
like Banksy, who has developed a name for themselves, can do something like that.
there's a couple of more steps to it than that. So
Yeah.
in traditional sort of art auction, well, I'm just going to say fraud,
Fraud.
what people do is they get these trusted art houses, auctioneers, and so on and so forth to value the piece. Now, if this is just a banana duct taped to a wall, then we all know that that's a banana duct taped to a wall. But they will value it at some exorbitant amount of money and say that it's a statement of society or some shit. So,
He's not wrong.
and what
It's
they
what
will
they
do,
do, yeah.
and what they will do is they will value it at X amount of money. And this usually exorbitant amount of money, doesn't go to the artist. It's used to pass money between the museum or the exhibitors or the auctioneers and whatever business wants to do a tax write-off, who will buy said art piece and donate said art piece to charity.
I could see
So,
with a lot. Wow.
in fact, it's not only paintings, because it came up with the Super Nintendo Mario game. They were found to be overvaluing the price of the cartridge, which led to an investigation and so on. Lots of messing about. But they were overvaluing things so that they could essentially make money by selling it for more, making money on these things. And all that needs to be done, it's the same way that stocks work, right? So if you start a business now, Riddler, and you approach any random person in the street and say, I want to sell you one share in my business for $50, and you make that sale, that is technically now, if you have 1,000 shares, your business is technically, regardless of what you have, is just you saying you've got a business. Technically, your business is now worth, what did I say, 1,000 shares? 1,000 shares multiplied by $50,000. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
Because you make that sale. It's how much your shares sell for. And if you can artificially inflate that price by selling shares for a larger amount of money, that's what your shares are worth. That is, quote, market value.
And people, I mean, of course they.
It's a scam.
Money. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's a big scam. Yeah, I can actually see that. I now thinking about it, since the way you explained it now, it's like, but there's a lot of galleries though.
Yes.
There's a lot of scamming.
They're going to
This
make
is why
money
a lot of young
themselves. The
people.
more money, it's like real estate. The more money that they sell for, the more money that they make. So they're making 10% on every sale.
Yeah.
And it's even worse when the artist dies, because then someone can come along and make triple, if not up to 10 times more. When Michael Jackson died, all of his music just like went up in value like you wouldn't believe. He's worth more dead than he was ever alive. For the music labels especially.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if you
And the
got stuff
music
that's been released.
labels operate the same way the people who run art galleries. People who run art galleries are exactly the same thing as music labels. People who like go, yeah, we'll sign you to this label.
So pretty
We'll
much,
push your music out there. We'll put your music on the radio. We'll show your art in this gallery, in that gallery. It's the same thing.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, they can that just push forward anybody they want at that point if they want to.
Yep. That's why only particular people who toe the line between certain politics, certain ideologies, certain this and that, they're the ones who usually get pushed. That's why a lot of people also like think that like every other band is an industry plant, because there's no reason this band should be that popular and everyone gets that uncanny feeling like this feels like algorithmic. This doesn't feel like natural. It's not like the Jackson 5.
Oh, okay. So
everybody loved it.
wait.
It's pushed through the algorithm.
Let me ask you this then. What band do you feel like that got that kind of treatment?
What do you mean?
Boy bands.
What kind of treatment though? What's the question?
The push that you don't feel like they deserve to get pushed that hard. Bassinian said BTS.
Oh, definitely Korean pop. There's something about Korean pop that's extraordinarily nefarious. How they treat their talent is like how people who run art galleries treat art and artists. They treat their talent like commodities instead of people. So 100% I would say Korean pop bands, K-pop. And it's all pushed. It's pushed pretty hard.
I actually remember making a point recently on this art thing. They were talking about AI in music. So
Okay.
essentially, it was what people's thoughts on AI in music. And for me, it's basically a tool. So yeah, long story short, it's essentially just a tool and nothing more. In the same vein that a 3D printer is used for rapid prototyping. It's not the end product, and it won't be for a very long time. But is it usable? Most definitely. Is it faster? Yeah. But I made the point where, quote, paying something to make music for you and churn out songs is not necessarily AI. It is, however, the same relationship of a record label and musicians. It's the same thing.
Hmm.
I'm all for AI.
That's interesting. I mean, wait, hold on. Okay, Melena says, "Do you think expansions wouldn't be added if they didn't make any money? That seems counterintuitive."
What do you mean? Like the
Expansions
game
to
already
video
has the
games?
expansions in it. How many times have people? Hold on. How many fucking times have people saw DLC in games prior to the DLC ever being fucking released?
Yes,
It
on
is
this
locked
DLC.
off.
Yeah.
It's always there. It's just locked behind a DLC. Somebody has to go there to the computer, program, send the thing, and it releases and opens. They did it with every fucking game. They do it.
Bethesda was literally caught having made particular spaces in 76 that they just ripped out of the game and then sold later as like some DLC. Actually, I think it was 4. Fallout 4, my bad.
And don't get me wrong, Melina. Most definitely, there's no point flogging a dead horse. So think about it in any kind of business sense, because you're not selling games, you're making money. That's really what it is. So there's no point flogging a dead horse. If you have an unsuccessful game, there is no point releasing DLC for it. None whatsoever, because it just won't sell. No one's going to buy it. And the 5 people that do buy it on a dead game, then there's, well, yeah, that's what, $10 more than what you originally had, but that's not going to keep the lights on. So most people just stop support for the game, and move on to the next project. In fact, most development houses, by the time one game is released, they're already working on the next game. And they're slowly moving staff from Project 1 to Project 2. As Project 1 closes, they're moved to Project 2. So it never stops. And while I do see your argument that it's counterintuitive, it's honestly, it's just about making money. It is a shop, a storefront just like any other, except they sell video games. How many games have been bought on the promises of something being a good game? What was that mech game that EA released?
Titanfall 2?
Anthem.
Oh,
Anthem's the one I'm talking about.
hold on. Anthem. Here's the thing with Anthem. Anthem was ahead of its time. And I think if Anthem came out with and it fixed and like expanded a little bit more, it'd have been a great game. But the thing is, it came out. I feel like it came at the wrong time, and they overpromised.
But that's the problem, though, Del. It was sold exactly on that potential. Oh,
Yeah,
you can be Iron Man and fly around and shoot things and stuff like that. And the shooting eventually just got boring because there was nothing else in the game.
Because like it's just that it was just like it said it was supposed to be a Destiny killer, and the thing is, what game developers have to do not say your game is going to be a killer of the X game. because right there you oversold it. How many games
Yes.
came out and said this is a like what game came out? I know a lot of games try to copy what Dead by Daylight did and say this is a killer to Dead by Daylight. No, it's not. Dead by Daylight is too fucking big right now.
Friday the 13th was another big one. Of
Friday
that.
the 13th.
Oh yeah, Dead by Daylight sells out so hard that there's no way.
Like nothing. And then remember what was that? Battleborn. Battleborn came out
Oh,
the same time with
Battleborn.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
And people like
The
Battleborn's gonna
Overwatch
kill
killer. Yeah.
Overwatch. Look what happened. Nothing. You know what killed Overwatch?
Overwatch.
Their own fans
Overwatch.
killed Overwatch.
Overwatch killed Overwatch.
Let's be honest.
Fans killed Overwatch. Overwatch esports was big, and then the fans and the company killed it. Why? Because they catered to the wrong people.
Yes.
Anthem came
Loot
out and
crates.
said, "You or this is the Destiny killer. It's gonna kill Destiny." And it came out. The game was.
All it did was advertise Destiny.
Now you have games right now. The game that's to beat right now, sadly, that is like gonna constantly put out content and gonna make stupid money.
Fortnite.
And I'm mad I never bought stocks in them. It's fucking Epic Games Fortnite. Because Fortnite, like a fucking ninja in the night, bought Harmonix
They took
and
the
has fucking
Nintendo
Rock
route.
Band.
That too. They took the Nintendo route. They cater to kids.
They knew who their market was. It was fucking kids, and kids like buying stupid ass skins. So when they're in Fortnite and calling you the N word with the hard ER, they're killing you with the newest skins. All right, Call of Duty is not for me and you anymore. It is for the fucking little kid who wants to buy a fucking skin and be
And
21
Fortnite isn't even
Savage.
the original battle royale. PUBG was the original.
PUBG was.
Yeah,
And
that's
look
true.
what came along. People were like, PUBG will never die. Fortnite's never wrong. Fortnite is gone. I mean, PUBG is
PUBG.
gone. PUBG is gone. You have Fortnite, Apex Legends, and that's it. And Call of Duty. Those are your big three in the battle royale shooters.
Yep.
Wait, what did you
And
say?
you know
the
what they
third
got
was?
huh?
What did you
Call
say?
of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. And you know what's making them money? Skins. Because people want to buy stupid ass skins.
Even Nicki Minaj put a skin into Call of Duty recently.
That's what's selling. And Dead by Daylight was doing that, and it came out looking stupid because you could be like they incorporate Attack on Titan, and the shit looks like dog shit. Dead by Daylight, just stick with it is. Keep supporting the fan base that you got for the horror fan base. Keep adding all those other stupid characters and horror monsters that don't fucking make sense
Can
sometimes.
you really call that horror though?
That's what it is. Dead by Daylight went from being scary horror to fucking fashion shows and fucking bright colors, and I'm like, I don't know what this game is anymore. So, I'm done
Once
with
they
it.
added auras, they added their own in-game currency. That's when they really lost me. That's when I stopped playing.
If any developer or future developer watches this, just know when you say your game is going to be a killer of another game, you better make sure it's going to kill that other game, because if it doesn't, you just look like a fool. Look at the game Redfall. Redfall
Gone.
Flop.
That game got nuked.
Well, what
Flop.
game was that supposed to kill?
It was supposed to be a kill, but it's supposed to be
It's supposed to be like an Apex, you know. It was supposed to be a battle royale, but like with vampires
No,
and
Redfall.
monsters
No,
and
it was
stuff.
supposed to be like a multiplayer, like play with your friends, jump on and kill vampires, and then it got the cool black chick with big hair and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it was a particular battle royale.
no, it was a shooter. It was like a loot shooter, kind of. Yeah, it was a loot shooter. Multiplayer loot shooter, not a battle royale,
Like
but loot shooter.
Overwatch?
No, like
Borderlands.
Borderlands. There you go.
Oh, okay.
A more
okay.
boring
That makes
Borderlands
sense.
at that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And look what happened. The game fucking flopped. And now if you bought the fucking big ass season pass shit, they're gonna give you back your money.
Horror Nix was going out of business. That's why they went with Fortnite. Fortnite. That's what she
But
said.
yeah, but Harmex, but no one knew that happened though. No one knew what that happened until Fortnite was like, hey, remember Rock Band? Now you could do it and you could use Fortnite skins. So you could be John Wick shredding on a guitar. You could be
And
Master
Fortnite
Chief.
didn't even start out with a battle royale. It was implemented
It was a
about
tower
6
defense
months. after the tower defense survive the
Save
world
the
or
world?
something.
Yeah.
Save the
Yeah,
world.
save the
Yeah.
world.
And it was that's why there was even building in Fortnite to begin with, because it was meant to be a tower defense game that you built your own tower while you fended off with your friends. It
I
was a
Fort-
PvE game, and they turned it into a PvP game just to compete in the market. And then once they figured out how to cater to kids, that was it. It was like they were locked in, loaded into the
And
industry
now
for sure.
and Fortnite and Epic Games did this with Fortnite. Okay, do you just want to like wholesome kind of Minecraft feel? We added Legos. You could be a Lego and make like a Minecraft. Lego Minecrafts now.
They
So
did
Fortnite
recently
is
do that. They did recently
huh?
do that. I said they did recently do that, didn't they?
Yeah, so you could be Tower Defense, Battle Royale, um, Rock Band, Minecraft with Legos, and I think they have like a racing game or like a kind of like what's that stupid game with the cars and soccer?
Rocket
Oh,
League?
Rocket League.
Rocket League. I think they have like a Rocket League thing in there too.
Oh,
They do?
yeah. Rocket League actually had some serious issues go down. Like a
Let me
bunch of
see.
servers got shut down, I think. Something like that.
Really?
I have a
Something
question for you.
close to that. I totally forgot about Rocket League. Damn.
Oh, it's called Rocket Racing?
Is it with the Fortnite? Is that in Fortnite? Yeah, Rocket Racing. Fortnite Rocket Racing.
Yeah, Blasian loves Fortnite. Her favorite.
So, so Epic Games
I love you, Blasian.
crushing it with one fucking game, Fortnite, and they keep releasing updates. They're just gonna make their money off of that. That's all they're gonna make their money off of. They don't need to make another game. EA, EA needs to
They
come up
don't.
with something.
And they knew
EA
that.
needs to come up with something.
When we all figured out, well, not all of us, but I figured that out when they built their launcher. And then everybody else was like, "Well, you better join our launcher." After Epic Games did their launcher, everyone and their fucking mother was making their own launchers. Bethesda, Ubisoft, fucking Connect, like it just was endless the amount of launchers we had to
Mhm.
fucking sign up for. It was disgusting. Like I was fine with Epic Games doing it, but then everyone else had to copy and do it too, and it just is too much. It's annoying to do that. I like all my games on Steam. I like the Steam community. I like Gabe. I I enjoy Valve as a gaming company. I like the games that they've made a lot. Their Valve's titles are honestly classics. You know what I mean? They don't half-ass making a game. That's for sure.
I have a question
Mhm.
based on Melina's question.
Uh-huh.
Because there's an interesting word in there that I've not come across for a long time. Melina uses the word expansions. What is an expansion to you guys?
Like
DLC.
no, no. I would say expansion and DLC are two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to
I'm
be
of the
two
same
different
mind.
things, but I worked at GameStop and for a while, and I did. Nope, I do not.
Yeah,
I don't think so
Well,
anymore.
I
I
do
think it's all
feel that
DLC.
I do feel that expansions has lost its meaning. For me, an expansion was okay. So you've got a story. An
Mhm.
expansion expands upon that.
Yeah,
It's still
Exactly.
DLC,
And that's
but
not
it
Mhm.
expands upon that story. It
yeah.
makes
Yeah.
It's
that thing bigger.
but
A
DLC is
DLC
like
can be anything. A DLC can
but
be horse armor.
exactly. But the expansions, like when you buy the expansion pack, you're buying a whole new different thing. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
like
Witcher.
with Final Fantasy 14, you're playing like this MMO and it's an ongoing story and this and that. And instead of buying the base game, you buy an expansion pack, which gives you all new missions, all new outfits, all new story arcs, a whole new fucking class. You know what I'm saying? Like that
That's
is
the
an
expansion.
expansion pack. Anything other than that is a DLC.
Yeah, so The
I
Witcher,
gotta agree with that.
Blood and Wine, Heart of Stone
DLC.
was
Yeah.
expansions.
Those are
All
That was
expansions.
DLC.
Yes, they
expansions.
No,
are.
no. Do you
The
get a new
Witcher,
class?
Yeah, no. It's an expansion
No,
of the
you don't.
story.
No, that's DLC.
No, because yeah, what are
Skyrim.
you
So
talking about?
Fallout New Vegas, right? Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
All of the extra, like Lonely Hearts, Lonesome Road, DLC. It's all DLC.
Okay.
So I feel that anything for The Witcher would also be DLC.
No,
Well,
because you had a whole new quest line, or multiple
That's
quest lines,
just
whole new
yeah. That's
stories,
yeah
new areas, new
yeah
cards, new card
yeah.
decks and
Yeah. That's the
variations.
same thing. Same thing for Fallout New Vegas. It's DLC.
Yeah, but you got an extra
Expansion
20
pack
hours of
means you're
gameplay.
getting new classes. You're getting new places to go. A whole new fucking world,
The
like a whole
Witcher
new
had that. The Witcher
server.
Wait.
expansion had
But
that.
you can't get a new class in The Witcher. The
In The
Witcher.
Witcher, you got new schools
There
and new
also
armor sets.
there's also no online gameplay for those games.
Yeah.
So I think that's a requirement to have an expansion pack. It needs to be an MMORPG.
What?
I disagree. I
You can
disagree with that.
disagree all you want, but that's what
What?
that's what I think.
That's
No.
all right. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, I
Yeah.
guess.
No.
New Vegas Obsidian team did not call it an expansion pack. They call it DLC. So that's
Well-
why I call it all DLC. Unless
that's
you're
why-
giving me new classes and a whole new world and it's online, it's a DLC.
How-
Well,
Right?
that's why I made the distinction. For me, all DLC is DLC. So like that's a skin, that's a microtransaction, that's a loot box, it's all DLC.
like
That includes those story expansions. However, an expansion for me is something very specific, which expands upon the lore of the world and is expanding a particular story.
yes. That's
Yes.
what I would think it is. Because
Bloodborne.
even let's say ESO, literally everything that comes out is it they consider it expansion, not a DLC.
Yeah, that's an MMORPG. It's online. Yes, that would be an expansion pack.
But you can't sit there and say The Witcher having a whole new story, lore, new
The
world.
Witcher is not an online game.
Okay,
But
but it still could be
being
an
online
expansion.
shouldn't be a requirement to count it as an expansion.
It's part
because-
of the requirement for me.
Okay. So so the main thing when we're taking away from this is that we're not going to agree on it because
Yeah,
it's-
no, because
yeah.
you're leaving out all new classes to play, a whole new story, a whole new character arc to explore the entire game through. You know what I'm saying? Like you can
Well-
go back and play a bard. You know what I'm saying? In Black Desert Online, they put out a new character with every expansion. You can go back to the beginning of the fucking game and play the entire fucking game and the expansion pack
She's not
in
wrong.
that class.
She's not wrong.
That
Oh.
is an expansion pack to me.
Well,
Anything
like-
else is DLC.
Well,
Okay.
this has never been defined, but back in the days of Diablo 1 and 2 and
Mhm.
Fallout 1 and 2 and things like that, expansions were definitely separate from DLC because DLC just wasn't a thing. Right? Horse armor wasn't a thing for another 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when horse armor came out and developers and publishing houses and things like that actually pointed the finger at Bethesda and
Bethesda
went,
was thrown
ha,
under
ha,
the
ha,
bus
ha,
for that. Yeah.
and
Everyone
they
hated it.
essentially started, or were the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. They started all of this huge DLC shit show that we have today. But as Ronin says in chat, I tend to agree. Like it's all DLC. Everything from a skin to a loot box to an expansion is DLC. However, we've kind of lost what an expansion is over time. Now, it's like I say, it's never been. There's no dictionary definition of what an expansion is. It's just our own individual opinions of what an expansion is.
Well, expansion pack is a term that originates with MMORPGs. Therefore, that's the only reason I use it that's why I have a strict definition for it. Anything else is a DLC. especially if it's a single player game that is you play it by yourself. DLC.
Okay, so I got a question with that. Wouldn't DLC just be what the name implies? Downloadable content that didn't come out with the base game outside of an
Yeah.
update.
Yeah, it's all DLC. Even expansion packs are DLC.
Yes.
So it's
That's the way
DLC
I
is
think
the
of it.
umbrella, and an expansion pack falls underneath DLC. Do you see what I mean?
I see what you're saying, but my thing is like this. Okay, I wouldn't consider a whole new storyline as DLC though, because I would consider that more of an expansion because especially not okay. Let me say it like this better. If it's not canon to the story, then yeah, that I would consider DLC. An expansion to me means that story that they brought out as an expansion is canon to the story, because that's two different things. If that makes sense. Because there's non-canon DLC and there's canon DLC. Like BioShock Infinite, they had going back to Rapture itself. That was DLC. Because that actually wasn't canon to the story. That was just a side thing that you were doing. That you, if you wanted to, you could do it. Whereas, as Della was talking about, The Witcher had Blood and Wine, that was canon to the actual story itself. Of anything, it expanded on said story.
It gave you two different stories. Blood and Wine was the huge expansion. I would say Blood and Wine was the expansion because it gave you a whole new area, gave you new cards, new school armor classes and stuff. And this whole new, it was like another 20 hours of the game. Heart of Stone, I would say, was like a DLC. It was like, here's a little something for you to keep you going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So expansion pack also dates back to the 70s with board games. And this is why I also make a different differentiation between the two. Expansion packs outdate DLC because before we had digital games, we had board games, which also did things like Dungeons and Dragons. Literally every book is technically an expansion. It's an expansion pack. You get all new classes, you get a whole new world to explore, you a whole new player's handbook, pretty much. This is where expansion packs come from. This is where the term comes from. And that's why I'll read
Would you
a little
like
bit.
to hear an AI's definition?
This ought to be good.
Can I read the definition since I actually looked it up?
Player 5 has entered the arena. Go on, Luna.
No.
You looked it up.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I asked the question, like DLC is downloadable content, what is an expansion in gaming?
We just said you're trying to loop us. This is shit lawyers do. You're asking us the same question in a fucking different way, and we answer it, then you're gonna ask the same question again.
I don't think that's a good way to word the question either.
Okay.
What is the difference between DLC and an expansion pack? Should be the question. You should be.
It actually covers it.
Okay.
In the
Go
answer.
ahead.
So they say,
See,
certainly.
that's what I said talking about. This fucking guy here is a lawyer. You British bastard. Shut up.
The gaming world, both DLC, downloadable content, and expansions enhance your gaming experience, but they differ in scope and impact. Let's explore the differences. 1. DLC. Definition. DLC refers to additional digital content that you can download and add to your existing game. Purpose, it keeps your gaming experience fresh, adding new elements to the base game. Examples, cosmetic changes, e.g. new outfits, substantial additions, e.g. new levels and storylines and characters, or seasonal events and map packs. Flexibility, you can choose specific DLC based on your interests, like an a la carte menu to enhance your gaming. Expansions. Definition. Expansions are substantial additions that significantly change your gaming experience. Characteristics. They feel like new chapters seamlessly integrated into the existing game. provide fresh gameplay mechanics, broader storylines, and often introduce new worlds or extensive areas to explore. Example, in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Blood and Wine, the expansion offers a whole new region, Tucson,
And I said, we just
with its, yes, you said that, with its own narrative arc, characters, and quests. Expansions are more than just a few hours of play and are hefty portions of content that feel like separate games.
Yep.
So the AI thinks you're both right. So there we go.
Well,
The AI does not think I'm right.
Oh, now you're not okay with
actually just-
AI.
No,
Now the
I'm-
AI, she's
I'm
like,
fine with
turned
AI.
against me.
I'm totally fine with AI. I don't care. Don't speak for me. Either of you, don't do that. I love AI. I will die for AI. AI is better than people. But you know what? It's not flawless. It still makes mistakes. And I just don't agree. I don't agree with that answer. I don't think that the additional content for The Witcher is an expansion pack. I think it's DLC. And I've made it very clear why. Okay? It's not an online game. It's not an MMORPG. And you can't go all the way back to the beginning of the game and play with new stuff. It doesn't really give you replayability to Witcher. It just doesn't. So
And
that's
yes, Ronan.
that's why.
Yes, Ronan. The reason,
Wait,
the whole
you
reason
can go
that
back
I-
to the beginning and play with the stuff added from Blood and Wine.
Like what?
the new weapons and
The
stuff.
new weapons stuff,
The new
yeah.
weapons
you,
and
you
armor.
you can get it at the beginning of the game.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it again. That I'm not counting weapons and extra outfits and stuff.
It's not
Talking about a whole new class, whole new fucking character arc.
But you can't.
You're playing a whole ass different
But
fucking character.
But
Your
you can't
role
do
is
that in The
completely
Witcher.
different from the first role that you played, and you
But you
can't do that
can't
with
do
The
that
Witcher
in The
because you're the
Witcher.
fucking Witcher. You're the fucking okay.
Exactly.
If you had an expansion pack, the only way I would accept that is if you get to play as fucking Yennefer, okay, or Ciri.
Wait.
Then it would be an
wait,
expansion
wait,
pack.
Wait. Hold on.
Sarah would be cool.
Wait, hold on. You
No,
can go
you
back
don't
and replay.
continue.
Wait.
Can you play the whole thing as Ciri?
No. But wait. No. Hold on. Let me make my case. Hold on. You can replay The Witcher and choose different options and choices to change the outcome of the story. The Witcher has like multiple endings.
That's not what I said.
But I'm
That's
just
not
saying
what
it
I
has
said. I'm being
replayability.
very clear about your role has to be completely different from the beginning to the end of the game.
So what she's saying is, if you can't play with, go back and play as Jennifer or one of the other like main characters. We'll just throw that in there because they technically are. Like, it's not an expansion. It wouldn't technically be an expansion due to that. Like, you still can go back and still play with Jared through the whole game. It's not like we can go back to the beginning and say, fuck it, I want to play as Jennifer through the whole game, get a whole different experience. That's
It's
what
still
she said.
Geralt the Witcher.
At the
You're
end
still
of the day.
playing Geralt the Witcher in his role, and that's what you're doing.
I mean, the game is called The Witcher. Not,
Yeah, I know,
Witcher
but
and
there's other
Friends.
characters to the Witcher
yeah, but the story's
that
always
play
about.
very important roles. I mean, at least Ciri, because she's also a Witcher. I mean, why not?
She's not a Witcher.
She's a Witcher.
Ciri's not a Witcher.
It's
No,
called
she's
The
not.
Witcher. She's a Witcher. I mean, according to your logic, that would make sense.
No.
Yes.
Wait, didn't she
Ciri's
say-
not a
You
Witcher.
literally just said. You
Wait,
literally
wait,
just
Siri,
said it's called
technically a
The
trainer.
Witcher. It's called The Witcher. So if you played it as Ciri, it would still be considered a Witcher.
That is,
Ciri's
isn't
not a
Siri a
Witcher.
trainer? A trainer?
Didn't
Witcher in
Siri
training?
take the mutagen? Though?
she never took the mutagen. She never took the trial of herbs or oils or whatever it's fucking called. She's not a Witcher. She trained with Witchers because she had the power and she was the adopted daughter of Geralt and she needed somewhere safe to stay because the Wild Hunt needed her and all this shit. But she's not considered a Witcher because one, Witcher cannot be women. Two, in order to be a Witcher, you must go through the trial of potions or whatever it's called to then get your signature Witcher eyes and be infertile. So she is not a Witcher. She is trained by a Witcher. In
And
the
this
ways
is
of a
only
Witcher.
according to your logic of her
No, it's
of the
according to the
title
lore.
being this is only according to your logic as the title of the game is called The Witcher. If
Yeah.
they let you play the whole game from the beginning as Ciri, as Yennefer, as Triss, whatever other main supporting class character, whatever, that would be an expansion pack to me. Then it would qualify. But it needs
Okay.
to have all of those prerequisites. It needs to be an online game.
So they would change the name to probably like they would have to
No,
change the
it
name of
would
the game.
still be called The Witcher because they're all characters in the story of The Witcher.
I get what you're saying.
You'd
but-
play as a sorceress. You'd play as whatever class you consider Ciri. You'd be playing an entirely different class, an entirely different role in an expansion pack.
But-
that is the definition I choose because I've grown up playing games like Dungeons and Dragons outside of the digital realm. Before digital content was a thing, before DLC ever existed, there was expansion packs. It predates DLC.
Yeah, but okay. All right.
That's all.
I
And
see
this is
what
just
you're
my
saying.
opinion. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm right. I'm not saying anyone's wrong. I'm just saying
Stating
this
your
is my opinion.
I see what you're saying. Like, because there's a lot of games like that. It's I would.
And really, honestly, it comes down to whatever the company, the developers consider it. If they want to call it an expansion pack, then it's an expansion pack. If they want to call it DLC, then it's DLC. It's whatever they call it, honestly. Because at the end of the day, I think Ronan's also correct that it's all DLC. If it's a digital good, then it's expansion packs are all DLC because you download the content.
Well, that's the only reason why I
Digitally.
brought it up in the first place.
Yeah.
That expansion packs, an expansion isn't something you hear anymore. It was used a lot in the bygone era of gaming, but it's not really used at all these days. It's all DLC.
I mean,
Yeah, the
ESO still
first game
uses it.
to use the first game to really use expansion pack as a term, it was Dungeons and Dragons. The first digital game to use expansion pack as a term is I think Grand Theft Auto with London 1969. I think that was the first digital expansion pack in a game. Digital game. Anyway. I know. I'm sorry. I am an RPG nerd and I just
No,
know
I
these
mean,
things.
no. I'm just.
I have a strict rule about words and I'm weird about it.
No, it's just, I didn't. I mean, I don't play much of Grand Theft Auto.
I've never played it. I just know that it's the first video game to use the term expansion pack. Digital video game.
And I'm
And
really.
the first
I'm
physical
really trying to
game,
think,
tabletop game was Dungeons and Dragons, which came out in the 70s. Blasian
And
says
I
I've got a
love the
point.
etymology of words too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
No,
And that's
it's
why
not
I
that you
thought it
don't.
was unusual that I'd not come across the word expansion for such a long time.
Like I said, the last time I heard of it was in ESO. They use it. But I know everything they bring out when ESO brings out said expansion pack. That's why I just buy them. Because I
And
know.
most of the time, they have an extra class with that expansion pack.
Yeah.
They have a whole new class. You can play the entire game from the beginning as that class. And they even go even further and they start you in different regions according to that class.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can work your way to other places you've started, which I thought was pretty interesting about ESO was the
Yeah.
geography of it.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about Skyrim outside of Skyrim through ESO. It really feeds you a lot of lore, especially if you're reading a lot of things.
Yeah.
I had to stop though because
You can't read well?
MMOs. No, I just can't. MMOs are like crack cocaine to me. Devious, tell them when we were playing Final Fantasy. I was literally living in Final Fantasy 14. Like I had it on the whole time, all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't turn the game off. Like I just can't do it. I have an addiction problem.
Using the game as ambient music and background.
Yeah, I would stand there. When I had my bard class, I would pull out the instruments and just play for people walking by. All these random games. I had the whole
Oh, you
What
hooked
is
up your
it- what
MIDI
was it
keyboard
called?
as well, didn't you?
yeah, I hooked up my MIDI keyboard and I would play on that and I did some kind of mod. I set up some mod so that it would just play. People would walk up to me in the game and request a song, and then I would find it and then play it. I really got into 14, Final Fantasy 14. If you want to play an MMO, that's the one I suggest. However, it's $15 fucking a month, which is the main reason I had to stop playing it.
Yes.
$15 a month adds up very fast. Very fast. But it's a really good game, and you can play all the way up to level 60 and the entire first base game for free. So if you wanted to try it, that amount of it is free.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and try that. I'll stick
Yeah,
to
no.
ESO.
I had to stop. See, this is what I mean. Like the expansion packs are deadly things, okay? Because it keeps the game alive. And I think that's something else we kind of glossed over earlier is games as a service being the main model that developers are going with now.
I mean, but that shouldn't be
the
your
amount of
saving grace.
servers that have been shut down this year and last year alone that have rendered games unplayable is kind of like starting to grind on people. You can see it, like it's actually starting to get to people.
The most biggest one that hit the news recently was The Crew, which has actually started a class action against Ubisoft.
Really?
Because not only did people pay for the game, but Ubisoft are actually removing The Crew from people's accounts. They're actually removing the game from your game account just so that they can turn it off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep, because you know what these companies think of us? There's fucking
dollar bills,
thanks.
y'all.
Numbers.
Dollar
There's a
bills,
to have these
y'all.
people.
Yeah.
And you're gonna sit there, and the only way you're gonna make an impact on these companies if you did like all the people did for fucking Helldivers when they said link to Sony. If you fucking review bomb them and don't support them, don't buy their shit. Don't buy it. Stop buying the shit.
But people were still buying it though, Della. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
What people are still buying what?
People were still
Helldivers?
buying it during the time. What do you mean? The same way with the Stellar Blade issue. People
No,
still
no.
bought Stellar Blade.
Hold on.
Yeah,
no,
well,
stop,
Stellar
stop.
Blade's a pretty neat game. That's
No,
we
but this is
want
what I
people
mean.
to buy that.
If the company itself as a whole is fucking over the consumer constantly, do not support the company and do not buy their future products.
Yeah. And by
Stellar
fucking
Blade-
over, we want to be really specific with these games of service thing. By fucking over, we mean like you don't own the game.
Yeah.
We can
So-
turn off your service to this game at any time for any reason
Yeah, even though you paid
because you don't
$60 or
actually
whatever.
own the thing you paid for. That's the problem. That is
Yes.
inherently the nefarious issue we're dealing with
So,
when it comes to
Could
games
you
as a
imagine
service.
buying a game for $60, spending hundreds of hours on it, and the company just goes, "We're removing it from your library." Can I get my money
Oh,
back? No.
That's right. It was the big one was Nintendo recently too. Some guy got real pissed off at Nintendo and did this whole rant because they turned off the servers to a new Leaf on the Nintendo DS, and this guy, his daughter, got so upset about it because all 12 years of progress just gone. Just you can't even play it without a server.
No, they got the right to be mad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see people on Twitter in the comments, they're like, just play New Horizons, just play the new one. What? For the next 10 years until they turn that off and make another new one?
Yeah.
No.
While I understand many games after a while it's like, you don't have a player base and stuff, but keep open some bullshit server that's not going to cost a lot of money. It's like you just have it in the background doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who-
Or just remove the online requirement anyway.
Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
just
Because
remove that.
it's another issue. So it's something, because I deal with music plugins and things like that, I deal with a lot of like security and verifications and signing in and signing out and authorizing and shit like that. But pirates don't have to put up with that. People who pirate the stuff like I couldn't play. What was the Assassin's Creed that was set in America about the founding fathers?
Oh,
Is that 3?
Assassin's Creed 3 something something, the one that sucked the most. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't play that for 2 whole weeks. You know why? Because it required an online service, and if that service went down, your save, your actual progress got nixed too. Couldn't play that for 2 whole weeks. I was a paying customer. Pirates didn't put up with that shit. Pirates didn't have to do that. They didn't get their save nixed just because they got disconnected because the Ubi servers were crap. It's paying customers getting persecuted for buying a product.
Continuously, because they're adding these microtransactions and stuff and these cosmetics into games
Mm-hmm.
over and over. Just imagine what Bethesda might do to Fallout 76 20 years from now. Less. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It only took Nintendo 12 years to be like, yeah, we're going to just shut down New Leaf servers. When it has a pretty good player base. Like, a lot of people don't like New Horizons. And they actually discovered New Leaf through New Horizons. And plus, the DS is cheaper. It's cheap as hell right now to get a DS. Because of the Switch.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can
Fun.
see as a business. No, go ahead.
No, I said fun.
I said
Do it.
I can understand as a business person why the companies do it. I understand it. You want to push
Mm.
people to buy your new
Mhm.
product. Like
Mhm.
I said the same thing. Like what fucked up Cyberpunk was that they try to retrofit for some things.
Mm.
Or they try to upgrade. I forgot what it was. But some companies they try to like cater to people who can't get the new systems. So they go, okay, we'll do this for the old systems. So everybody can play, so everybody can enjoy it. But then you have somebody at the very top that's like, fuck that. Make it only for this system, new. Let these fucking guys buy it. We can increase sales, revenue, and profit. They care about profit. So
Mhm.
I can see
Yep.
and understand why Nintendo did it. Is it fucked up?
Mhm.
Yes. But they probably saw this little girl in that game was like, who the fuck is this little bitch? She needs to buy the new stuff. Fuck her. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about her daddy.
A lot
Fuck
of
you.
people were
Buy my
in the
new stuff.
comments on that tweet saying that, well, just play the new one, just play the new one. And that pressure is actually pretty old. And I think it began with the light bulb. That's why I call it the light bulb effect. Planned obsolescence is what this fucking is. It is planned obsolescence built right into the fucking games we're playing and buying. You buy a light bulb, and what happens to that light bulb? Why do you need to change your light bulb?
Because
The original light bulbs lasted for fucking ever. I think there's actually a light bulb still on to this day. One of the original light bulbs still works
the
to this
non-LED
day.
ones you're talking about?
Really?
Yes.
What
Mm.
Luna's mentioning here is something called the Phoebus Cartel, and that was a
That's it.
conglomeration of all of the major electric light bulb manufacturers, Philips, General Electric, a whole bunch of people. And essentially, they found that they weren't selling as many light bulbs. So they could quite easily, by the thickness of the filament or the vacuum that is in the light bulb, because essentially what causes the tungsten to break is just heat. If you put the same voltage across a piece of tungsten in naked air, that it will overheat. And so old light bulbs, like the one that Luna's talking about, there's one in a fire station. It's a very dim light bulb, but it's been working for something like 100 and something years. It's like just insane the amount of time that this light bulb's been working. And they made, and this is not tinfoil hat, this is actually well documented, they made an agreement between all of the companies to weaken the light bulbs so that they broke. That way everybody gets repeat purchases. And it's as you say, Del, it's pretty straightforward. It is just business, and they want people to buy their shit.
Yeah, I mean, Apple does it all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, Apple
Oh,
are terrible
yeah.
for it. Like saying that just for a replacement battery you need to buy an entirely new phone for another $1,000. Fuck that
Look at this
noise.
design. This is
Yeah.
an Apple mouse. This is an Apple mouse. You know how you
Yeah,
charge it? You have to fucking plug the charger into the bottom of it.
so you can't
You
use
can't
it
use
while
the
it's
mouse when it's
charging.
charging.
Yeah.
Because they said, fuck you.
Yeah.
You wait, you son of a bitch. You want to use this mouse? Wait.
Buy 2 of them.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
Kill
buy
yourself.
2 of them.
That's what they tell you. Oh, you want to keep hold on to that Apple iPhone 12? Oh no, the fuck you don't. We're gonna send out updates to fucking brick your phone. And we're gonna keep sending updates until you fucking buy the new product. And then when you don't buy the new product, we gonna make sure that you fucking find something else to do.
I just
Trust
got
me.
a 12.
Yeah, guess what? Apple's gonna send out. We up to 15. They're about to drop to 16 because they're about to have another fucking thing show soon. Guess what they're about to do? iPhone 16. When that 16 drops, new iOS. Oh yeah, iPad. They're dropping a new iPad. Guess what? They gonna
I want the new iPad so bad.
yeah. They know how to get you. They gonna fucking drop so many updates.
Well, I
Where
use
we
the
up?
iPad to draw on and do all
Where
that
we up to?
stuff.
iOS what? 17? Who the fuck knows?
16
gonna-
something?
They gonna fucking put up a new iOS and they gonna brick your old phone. So
Yeah.
Disparity said he's gonna piss everybody off because Stellar Blade, while it is a unique game, it is mid.
It is kind of mid, but
that's
it's
simple.
yeah, it's just an action game with hot girls in it. Like I don't know why it's such a controversial thing. Bayonetta is like basically the same
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a hot chick and she got semi naked.
yeah, it's the same
and was a
premise
witch.
with just more of a story. You want to play a game that's like Stellar Blade with actual story and like hot shit in it that's not mid, that's like fucking top tier. Play Bayonetta.
There you go.
There's 3 installments of it. It's great fucking game.
I don't
Nier
understand.
Automata.
Nier
Automata.
Nier
Automata,
Automata
the
is
story
really
is kind
good.
of all over the place. No,
It's all over the
is all over
place,
the
but
fucking
you
place,
can
bro.
you can really enjoy it, and then you can watch a YouTube lore video that's like 10 minutes long, and it'll explain everything.
Yeah, and
Well,
then
it's
that
also
game
all
has
over
like
the
how
place
many
because you
But
need
you
to
shouldn't
complete it
have
6
to, though.
times in order to understand it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go any deeper, you got to play the old games.
Yeah, the old
Yes.
games are you think
Dragon.
Nier Automata is fucking all over the place? The older games are like, what the hell is going on? It's like a
The old
fever
games, cool.
dream. It's like playing
Near
Final
something.
Fantasy
It still had
8,
near in it.
11 or something. It's
So
pretty intense.
the only reason Stellar Blade got people upset because it was a hot Asian girl.
Yeah,
That was it.
the hot
Mhm.
Asian
That was it.
girl
They
that
allow
was
the new iPad.
practically looked naked, and they don't like that. And then Sony basically censored it anyway. They censored all of her outfits and stuff and put more clothing on her after the fact.
to
After they
appease a
released the
small
game.
to appease a small majority. And then you know what pissed me off about that the argument when it's like, oh, it's from the male gaze. So we're just gonna leave out gay women completely. We're gonna leave
Mhm.
gay women out
Oh,
of this
yeah,
argument
it's only to
completely.
vilify men, dude. It's
Gay women, no gay women is sitting there saying like, oh my fucking god, I want to fucking
No,
do whatever to this.
I'm
girl."
pretty much straight, and I like looking at hot women.
So
You know what I mean?
so
It's not
we'll
even
leave
like
all
a
those
gay
women out
thing.
of it. We just focus on men. But hold on. In fucking Baldur's Gate, as
It's
long as it's
literally
a hot
fucking.
demon mommy girl, we could fucking say yes.
Dude, you can fuck a bear
That's okay. That's safe.
in Baldur's Gate,
horny.
and that's
That's
fine.
safe horny.
That's
Edgy
totally
horny.
okay. Bestiality approved, but you can't just look at and enjoy watching a hot Asian chick fuck
And
some
here's the
shit up.
thing. Here's the thing. It doesn't take men to sexualize it. There are cosplayers who will sexualize it for us.
Thank you, Della.
It
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
just wait for the cosplays. I've already seen
Name a
some
ga-
Rule 34 art.
Name one character, and I guarantee you, a cosplayer has sexualized it.
Dude.
Guarantee you.
even male characters have been gender bent. I used to see one of the first gender bent cosplays I saw was Alucard from Helsing,
Mm-hmm.
and damn, that bitch was hot. It was like a mind fuck for sure, but it's very titillizing, you know. I just like art,
So
you
someone
know.
did want to
It's
Seto
Beautiful
Kaiba, and I was like,
women,
damn, okay, that look good.
beautiful
somebody.
women just are beautiful.
I just don't get it. What about these cosplayers? Oh, like we won't talk about them. They won't. We won't talk about how it's content for them. It would just focus on men. Men just want to be horny. Half
Well,
you motherfuckers who
I
are
strongly
horny.
dislike the hypocrisy. So, for example, Nexus mods famously banned a mod that made a potentially gay character straight, or made a female character male, or something like that. Whereas there were existing mods on the site which turned certain characters gay or changed them to female. And it's sort of like, wait, it's okay for it to go one way, but you ban them when it goes the other?
Yes,
That's
Mm-hmm.
straight up hypocrisy.
because it has to. Again, it's to. It's to. It's to make a small minority, like a small minority of gamers happy. A small minority that won't fucking support your game after the
Oh,
first
yeah.
week. They'll give
Who
up.
here
They're like,
has
I'm done.
played Dead or Alive?
I have,
I still play it.
because I was a horny teenage boy.
Yeah,
That's
that
why.
was like the game with jiggly physics first really got
Yes.
serious.
You know how some people are. You know how some people are with Call of Duty. Every year that game comes out, they are
Yeah.
like on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I used to be with Dead or Alive.
We had a whole beach
No
volleyball
lie.
game. Dead or Alive was like one of those games that's like you had to make sure you played and like adults weren't around.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Yeah.
Okay? So at the end of the day, it's I just hate that game companies are hiring people and doing all these things to appease a
These
small majority that won't
narrative
support the game.
designers. What a fucking disgusting word.
But
Well,
here's the
Narrative
reason, here's the
designer.
thing.
It's like I'm a veneer technician. It's the same. It's like, what? What are you?
I mentioned the game earlier, but Forspoken is a very good example of that. If anybody remembers what Forspoken is.
Forspoken was a
I
game.
did that with my mind.
Bad writing,
Black girl powers.
bad
What?
writing, really bad writing. It was. Here's the thing: Forsaken could have been a really
It was
good game.
horrific
It could have been a
writing.
really good game. Bad
Could have
writing,
been.
bad fucking writing, terrible writing,
I
terrible.
just was dying.
The company who fucking was the fucking what were they? The consultants on it killed that game. They
Sweet
killed
Baby.
the game.
Yes.
Sweet
And here's
Baby
the thing.
Inc. Or something
know
like
why-
Sweet Baby Inc.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know why the company hires DEI companies. I know why they do that. I know why they do that. Because you have to. A lot of these companies have to hire certain groups, and if you're a consultant and you're a minority-owned consultant, they have to give you the work.
Well, you get
'Cause it's a
They
tax
get
break for them.
funding. They get extra
Exactly.
funding from companies. I think it's called Black something, Blackwater, Black something. I can't remember that, but they are the ones that are really behind the Sweet Baby narrative designing bullshit.
So a lot of games, Korea is gonna start making a whole bunch of fucking games, releasing it, and fucking kill the Western game market. Because you know why?
Mhm.
They just make games. They put a hot fucking guy in it. They put a hot girl in it. They put whatever fucking love story. They put crazy graphics and gameplay, and people buy it and eat it up. Why?
Well,
Mm.
Because that's gaming at the end of the day. It's
Well,
fun.
that-
Fun. It has hot people in it. I don't want
That's
to play a
why-
game.
That's
that
why
I-
manga now outstrips things like DC and Marvel comics.
Yes. If I want to play
And
a game,
as Luna mentioned to me just the other day, they have entire demographics of that shit. So if you
Yes.
Tsundere and what's the other one, Luna?
Yuri and
Yuri, yeah,
Yurei
Yuri.
and,
dude,
you know, they
this
have
whole thing.
every type of gay. They even have lover boy, like lady boy. Literal, like that's what they call transgender women. They
Futa-
call them lady
Futa?
boys.
Futarina.
No, not
But the thing
Futa is not not a ladyboy.
That's
Futa is
that's
an
a
actual
whole.
woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's
With a
actual
with a
intersex
dick.
people.
What she said.
Yeah, it's a chick with a dick, but lady boy is transgender women. It's actually a biological man.
But my point about that is they have categories for it because they don't take already existing characters and go, oh, hey, this character's gay now.
Yeah.
Because they
In
did that with
Japantown,
Lady Demetresque from Resident Evil. Because apparently the
Japantown.
writer came out like months later and got, well, not months later, like almost a year later, and went, oh, yeah, Lady Demetresque is gay now.
Because you know
Yeah.
So,
why?
like,
Money.
That bitch got 15 minutes of fame.
Money.
J.K. Rowling did the same thing with Dumbledore until all that ideology started freaking her out, and they started harassing her a lot. Now she's
she's the poster child of it comes back to bite you in the ass.
Here's the thing.
People
Here's the thing
forget
with
that though, that she did that. They didn't even care.
with a lot of games, when people say, "Oh, I want characters to look like me," then you play a game where you could design the character. Play
Yeah.
those games.
Bingo.
If I want to
Mhm.
if I want to play a game that with characters look like me, I will play a Souls game because you could customize a character. When I could customize a character, that character will look like me. If I'm playing a game and the character is a fucking Asian guy, or for perfect example, Devil May Cry. I love Devil May Cry. Devil May
Yeah.
Cry is one of my favorite series of video games. Why? It was a cool ass dude.
Yep.
He had his own crisis because he had identity crisis because he
Mhm.
was like, I'm an angel, I'm a half human and demon,
And
and I'm a badass. He eats
Pizza.
strawberry sundaes. He was funny. It was a cool action game, and
Mhm.
you can relate to the characters.
oh my god, the music in Devil
story.
May Cry was
Yes.
amazing.
God, yes.
A lot of times when people say when they build characters, it's not to relate to the character as because they look like you, it's because they probably went through something in their story that you've gone through in your life, your personal life.
Bingo.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
no, everything I want to see more characters that look like me.
Yeah.
There
Well,
are games,
Del,
there's a ton of games with characters that look
on that-
like you. Oh,
That's
bro,
how I feel
yeah.
about Kingdom Hearts. Like the first two Kingdom Hearts game, I feel is a very good story about growing up and how painful it is to actually grow up and lose your friends. And you don't. No one really keeps their friends they had when they were kids. Everybody
Yes.
winds up growing up and making new friends and going to new places and getting out there is what helps you make new friends. And that's what I think is the most beautiful thing about Kingdom Hearts. Everyone's trying to like figure out what's the story mean? What does it mean? It's pretty fucking obvious to me.
Kingdom Hearts has
I-
if we were to do a Kingdom Hearts story, I would have to have a whole map and to start.
Yeah, dude. And
one.
about four different I think a Game Boy game and a couple Nintendo DS
The-
cartridges to
mangas.
figure
yeah,
it
the
out.
Nintendo
Mangas.
And mangas,
exclusives.
yes.
The
Wait,
Because
Kingdom
it's
Hearts
not
has a
all
manga?
in-
exclusives.
Kingdom Hearts has 2 mangas.
I did
or
not
3.
know that.
Well,
Yeah.
now you know.
Yeah.
That's
But it's a
interesting.
beautiful story about growing up, losing your friends, and making new ones. It's
That is true
really beautiful.
because the main bad guy, he lost a friend way back, and he lost his heart, and it split into it's a long thing. I'm not doing
But
it.
yes, Del,
I'm not
I
doing the
completely
Kingdom Hearts
agree. I don't play Bayonetta because I want to see a big, hairy ex-Navy guy hobble around the fucking screen.
I
Yeah,
do.
I'm playing
I
it,
do.
I'm
I
playing
wanna
it for
see that.
Bayonetta.
I don't want to see myself. I want to see
Exactly.
big, hairy Ogren doing
I
Ogren
just-
things.
I just find the fact that her powers are unique. Honestly, that's what got me into it. The way she
I agree.
uses
Yeah,
it.
I saw it. I was like, oh, this is a female Devil May Cry. I like Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
play this.
exactly what I looked at it as. It's a Devil May Cry game. It's great.
I just found the way
Yeah.
she used her powers very unique and interesting. I was like, okay, I'm with this. It makes sense.
It's
Like
it's
when I
just
play
become-
Batman, I'm not self-inserting. That's Batman. That's not me.
exactly.
You know, so like I don't get the people that want them to be Batman, I guess.
I get it.
It-
It's narcissism, flat out. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
you
Yeah,
want to see
maybe it is, yeah.
yourself as the main character all the time. It's not main character syndrome. It's narcissism, and
Go
it's
play
like
The
up
Sims.
here on the fucking scale.
It's also like when people come into a new game, They want to try it out, but they want it to be catered to them. Perfect example: Souls games. Souls games. This whole thing.
Perfect,
The
yeah.
Souls game need the easy mode.
Mhm.
No, the fuck it doesn't.
And
Oh,
then they get
but
salty when whenever people are like, "Get good." Like that's what it
Like,
is. It's a
like
get good game.
as somebody who's never actually beat Elden Ring, but I played a lot of it, I can honestly tell it does not need an easy mode. Like I will never say Elden Ring is a bad
because
game. It's not. It's a
obviously
beautiful fucking game.
Elden
The
Ring.
more you play it, the easier it gets. And that's the
Put like
truth
this.
about Souls games.
Miyazaki said that he was tired of games holding the players' hands. He wanted the players to feel accomplished when they did something. That's the whole game. The game doesn't need the easy mode. It doesn't. Oh, but you don't have to play the easy mode. It doesn't need it because you'll never feel accomplished. The feeling of being a boss that you've been stuck on for 2 hours, right? Is
Days
an amazing feeling.
sometimes.
Well, it's also why I both agree with and disagree with the whole get good ethos, because
get
it's
good
hidden. It's hidden by elitism, right? Elitism is bad.
Yeah.
But
But-
my point remains that getting good is the only way to beat the game, because all the bosses have patterns. You can beat them without getting hit.
It depends on who comes out of whose mouth it comes out of. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
agree.
I've never said to someone get good. I just always say something more along the lines of the more you play, the
Because-
easier the game gets,
Yeah.
because
Yes,
it's all
because
about
you
muscle
learn.
memory with
and you're
Yeah.
getting
these
good.
soul games.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
but-
getting
but
good. You are
here's my
actually
thing.
getting good.
I don't see
Yeah.
that person who smoked everybody who's played Soul games, who beat it with torches and stuff like that, screaming good to any of y'all. He could say that to all
No,
you motherfuckers.
the let me solo her guy. He didn't
He
say
is a-
nothing like get good. He
Yeah.
just said let me solo her.
I know somebody who's completed 2 separate Dark Soul games with a controller in each hand. I also know that same person has completed a Dark Soul game with his feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So this game, the game doesn't need none of this stuff. It's these
Mm-mm.
tourists. It's these tourists that come in and like, oh, I want to try it, and then when they come in, they want to change it. Look at a lot of lore in Magic the Gathering. Cards had to get changed because it had words that people felt were offensive.
What the
To
A
fuck?
them.
lot of it is
Oh,
the
yeah, I do
inability
remember
to self-examine for sure.
Yes. Even in Dungeons and Dragons, they changed a type of magic spell because the word was offensive.
Huh?
I think
Oh,
They
wasn't
got
there
rid
this thing
of
about-
they got rid of a whole race because they thought it was talking about black. They got rid of orcs
orcs, yeah.
because
And they
I do
didn't
remember
understand.
that represents black people. Says
Yeah.
I
who?
would like to be represented. Listen, if I was a fucking orc, do you see orcs?
Oh, yeah,
Says
they're
who?
jacked.
No
But the
one
thing is,
ever
it's sort of
said
like
that
they-
orcs are black people ever.
They-
That's never
they
been an
didn't-
actual thing.
Yeah, they
I
didn't
know, but if-
comprehend the fact that associating a race with an orc or something like that was the racist thing in the first fucking place. It's not the orcs. The orcs are a fantasy fucking race.
Exactly.
They're completely
Yeah.
fucking made up.
It's just
Not
it just-
real.
and then now you have this thing with Warhammer, which
Oh no.
which was like, oh, we want to add in female custodians.
You know what? You know what the thing about that is though?
Mm-hmm.
If they just came out and said, "Look, we're retconning custodies, we're adding in females, deal with it." I think everyone would have been okay with that because they've retconned a million fucking armies before. They're obviously going to do it again. It's the fact that they sat there and said there's always been female custodies, which to me sounds like we've always been at war with Eurasia. 1984 shit. Don't lie to us.
Mhm.
Because there has never been female custodies.
And I think a lot of people
new.
would be. I think a lot of people would be cool with, oh hey, this mystical warp hole has opened up and the Emperor's secret project has been revealed. Look, female custodies now. Just
But-
making
but-
an extra thing.
But you heard that also. What's the there's a group of nothing but female warriors. And they're
Oh, there's
There's
loads of
two.
them.
You got the battle. The two main ones are the Sisters of Battle and the Sisters
Mhm.
of Silence.
So they
Those are the
they
two
want to
main
change the
ones.
sisters to include trans sisters.
I didn't hear about that.
They want to
Thank
do
you.
that too.
My thing
include
is
that.
like, why is there not more lore for, which Luna just said, Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence, instead of just
Because-
adding more?
Because you know why? Because nobody wants to sit there and write it.
But
Yeah,
but
because
but you got time to
they're
write a whole
lazy.
thing.
One, because they're lazy and they didn't make Warhammer. The Games Workshop. Something you need to understand about Games Workshop is they sell figurines. That's their main deal. What they're doing, trying to like ham fist stuff into the lore, isn't really their place.
And I 100% agree with you. Which, as you just said, because they're lazy, they don't want to write more lore. But you got time to write a whole another lore and change a whole lore.
Yeah.
Make that make sense for me.
It doesn't make sense.
The philosophy and the universe and the lore is the plot has been lost on these ideologues. They want to make
Forest.
trans women into men, into actual women, and they want to change the language. They want everyone to go along with this big fat fucking lie, that's
Okay.
only going to wind up hurting people.
Okay, again, it's still, even with that, why don't you just expand on what you have? If you want to implement that, as you just said, Sisters of Silence, Sisters of Battle, expand on the lore, then include them.
Because
Problem would be solved.
so what they're
Y'all, we
doing
would
with
not
the
even be here.
custodies is
That's
they're
it.
trying to ease it in. They're going, since women can be in the custodies, then trans people can be in the Sisters of Silence. When Sisters of Silence is basically like the equivalent of the custodies. The Sisters of Silence and the Adeptus Custodies are the two armies in Warhammer 40k that get the closest to the Emperor out of any other faction in the fucking game.
Wait.
These two armies can get the closest to him.
Let me ask this then, because maybe I'm looking at the bracket of like armies wrong. So Sisters of Silence is the part of custodians. Yes or no?
No, they're separate armies, but they can get as close to the Emperor as the custodians can.
Okay, so then yeah, I stand on what I said. Why not just expand on the Sisters of Silence?
Because they're fucking lazy. We just said that.
But you're
want to lie.
okay. But you're okay with just adding a whole nother lore of women to a class that doesn't even never included them.
That's easy. That's easy.
How is that easier?
Okay, let me ask you a question. What's easier? Writing a whole new book, expand a little, or just going inside and say, let me change 1, 2, 3, and I'm done? What's easier?
I see what you're saying. I'm with you.
That's all it is.
That's easy. Yeah. That would be easier. You're right.
Because if I write, because like what she said, like if like a portal opened up and it revealed all this thing, you have to sit there and write all of that. Like, okay, the portal opened and this happened and it was this, and this. You gotta read the old lore and then expand on that. That takes a lot of work. I could just go, there's always been there. Let me just go in and find change them, done.
Yeah, then I understand why people pissed. I generally understand that.
Yeah.
One example of this is the Calidus Assassins. The Calidus Assassins from the Officio Assassinorum are almost entirely female. And the reason for this is the drink that they take is called polymorphine. They can change their shape literally into animals and things like that. But for lore reasons, it somehow just does not really work well with men. Men can take it, but it's not effective, and it's like a 1 in a billion men that can actually take this polymorphine and it not kill them. It's ridiculous. But for some reason it works incredibly well with women. So almost the entire Calidus assassins are all female. No one cares.
No one cares that there's already a female faction, a few of them, and there's more than that too. But these are like the really prominent ones. The Sisters of Silence are like the most prevalent because they get close to the Emperor. Like they are like his left hand, and the custodies are his right.
Yes. The specifically law mentioned, I guess, was they have access to the inner sanctum or the lower areas of the palace. where only custodies have access to. They are that important. No one else gets in. No one gets in. Not even the who's it? The people that actually run the place, the fucking governors and shit like that. They have a name. Not even those guys get that access. That's how important the Sisters of Battle are. And again, all-female faction. Calidus Assassins, law-accurate all-female faction.
Disparity said, how much invested do y'all have in Warhammer? Because he
I
likes
am
Warhammer too.
my big toe is in Warhammer lore. I like the
I don't
orc
mean to
lore.
correct him, but the Sisters of Battle's more like the Space Marines. They're like the female Space Marines. That's what they're like. And the Sisters of Silence are the only ones who actually can get into the Sanctum. Sisters of Battle don't.
Sisters of
Yeah.
Silence, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's my big toe is in the lore of Warhammer because I know a lot about the orcs, I like the god, some of the gods and stuff. That's about it.
Gork and
'Cause
Mork.
yeah, because the orcs, I just like their stupidity and their logic, and it fucking works.
They're funny. They're funny as fuck.
It's funny. It's funny. Like
Yeah.
we paint red, it go fast.
Yeah. Because the red ones go faster, innit?
And then we build spaceship out of rock. Rock go destroy planet. Who survive? We fight. Like, I guess. How does this rock
Yeah.
fly? We don't know.
Orcs
know.
are so
Yeah, we do.
interesting in
Orcs
the
believe in it.
Warhammer lore because it's
That's
like
what it is.
their power is that they can just imagine whatever they can imagine, they can make real, and that's
And then you have
just like the wildest thing.
some of these gods who don't realize that they're so big and destructive that sometimes they're trying to communicate and make friends, but they're just destructive.
But then they eat a whole planet.
They eat a whole planet. Like they don't mean to be destructive. Like I think there's like one god who's like
They're
this
just
giant thing.
hungry.
It's like it just wants to make a friend and hug it, but it's so disgusting and gross. And like when it squeezes people, it touches them, they decay.
Yeah,
But
like the whole
disparity-
plot of the game is totally lost on people who want to see themselves in it because it's an entirely extreme situation. It's Warhammer. It's what the universe would be like if everything was around based on war, having war, going to war, things like that.
Okay, so let me
Uh,
ask
dis-
this: Who has the most fucked up faction?
The humans, I think.
Why?
It could be argued that the humans, because they kill their own quite freely, just for finding out that chaos exists rather than any real reason. The Eldar literally murder fucked a demon into existence. That's where Slanesh comes from.
See, I didn't know that.
I would say the Eldar are the most fucked up. But the coldest and the most callous are probably the humans.
It doesn't. The whole fucking word is all fucked up because who is it that if you look at him and see his true form, you go fucking crazy? Who's that? Some like great leader. If you really see who he is, what he is, he's like you go insane.
It could be the Emperor.
Yeah. How crazy is that? If you see, because supposedly you see everybody sees him like this godlike handsome person, right? But his only like a few some group could see him for what he really is, or something, and he's not like he doesn't look the way he's drawn or seen. He's like a skeleton, some weird shit. And if some people see that, they go crazy.
I'm not sure.
Hold on. Disparity might know who that is. Disparity, who is that?
Talking about the Emperor. That is the Emperor.
That's the Emperor.
Yeah, the only Custodes and the Sisters of Silence have even seen are capable of seeing him, and they see him from because they're so zealous in their beliefs that they only see through their faith, right? That they see him in a certain way, right? But if anyone else were to get into the sanctum and see him, they would go mad and like Lovecraftian style, their heads would explode.
Like,
That's
how
definitely the
crazy is that?
Emperor.
And if you're human and you're born, you got two options. You're either born and die, or born and go to war. And even when you go to war, if you die halfway, they're like, we're still gonna use your fucking body because you're still needed.
It's
They put
grimdark. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's grimdark. It's
they
grim.
they put you, dude. They fucking put people who are like lifeless, like their brain still functions, into fucking giant robots. Like if you
Mhm.
could lose all your arms and legs, you still got a head and brain. Guess where you going? In a robot. You still could
Well, you
fight.
could just be. You could quite as easily be a door servitor, and still have your faculties and just the rest of your life, for however long your biological matter lasts. You are opening doors.
You hear that shit? Your biological matter. The fuck?
Yes, it's grimdark. That's what it's about.
And
But
then
for
people wanted to be all
disparity,
fucking whimsical and fucking, oh, it should be nicer, and no, that's what they did to WoW. Remember WoW? Orcs were these fucking like brutish fucking things, and it's like they were like, you saw an orc and you were like, oh fuck, we gotta get it shaken. Now you see pictures of orcs, like they're taking pictures and they are happy go lucky. And I was like, the fuck is this?
Mhm. But in answer to disparity, I enjoy the lore. I enjoy the stories. I don't play the game itself. Yeah, I'm just a fan of the lore and the stories. Really, that's about all I'm invested in it. And to the extent that I just don't care if they add another factions of males or females or whatever. I really just don't care. I just don't want to break the thing that they got me interested in. So, for example, I don't know, like Superman just suddenly being gay for some bizarre reason. I mean, look, if Superman was always gay, that's fine because his sexuality was never brought up. Obviously, he's married to Lois Lane, and obviously they've had a romance and things like that. But my point, and the point I'm trying to make, is if that had never been established, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter who Superman wants to fuck. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in him fighting like universal superpowers and shit like that, like Galactus. I just don't care because who and what you want to fuck should not really factor into a good story.
Yeah.
I got into Warhammer 40K because of Darktide. And that game just came out. I had no idea what it was about. The only thing I knew about it was that it was a tabletop game. And there were figurines, like people fucking played figurines. But when I was playing Darktide, I did this double take and I looked up in the game and I went, "Whoa." And then I looked down and then I went, "Whoa." And these hive cities go on forever and ever and ever. And the sheer scale of it just got me so fucking warped and interested. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's
There's
difficult to
skeleton
comprehend
heads,
how big a hive city is. Yeah.
skulls just fucking flying around. The Medicae, where you heal yourself, is literally a fucking person stuck in there. Just
Yeah.
the only purpose of their existence is to heal you and basically sit in that machine.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking really just got me interested. The lore is what hooked me onto this game. And the only investment I have in 40K is buying Darktide and playing Darktide. That's
And
it.
you don't hear that, oh, they should add this and that because it caters to me. That's what people do. They come to hobbies and go, how can I make this more for me? Because it's not enough for me.
How
Then a
can
whole
I
bunch of other people go,
ruin the
it's not enough
things
for me
men like?
either. And then they get the change, and guess what they do after they get the change? We're not gonna buy the stuff. We're not buying it.
They get off on control. It's all about just control.
He said the majority of the Warhammer community are fine with the female custodians. They just don't like GW gaslighting. But here's the deal:
Exactly.
Twitter
That's the thing.
weirdos will call Warhammer woke. Bitch, Warhammer's been woke. GW has had inconsistencies, and it's pretty wild.
And that's all it is. As long as if you're gonna add female custodians to it, add to the lore. Just add to the lore.
That's
Just
what I
put
said
it
at the
in.
beginning. I said
Just
if they just came out and fucking was honest, they don't even have to do anything to the lore. Just say we're adding female custodies. Deal with it, bitch. I would have more respect for that. But don't fucking tell me. Don't sit here and lie to me and gaslight me and tell me that we've always been at war with Eurasia as some 1980 fucking 4 shit. You can eat my dick, okay? How about that? Fuck that shit. Don't fucking lie to
I
me.
agree.
And don't think you're going to be able to lie to everybody else either, especially the people that have put a lot of money into it. Of course they don't care. All they care about is buying their fucking figurines from third-party printing sites. So guess what? They're probably also panicking because they're not making much Games Workshop, like I said. They are a figurine making company. And now everybody's buying figurines and having them made at third-party 3D printing sites at like a fraction of the fucking cost. And they can customize them to look like whatever they want. So Games Workshop is salty and they can fucking suck it.
I mean, they kind of did the same thing with Lord of the Rings, Ring of Power. They changed the complete lore of Lord of the Rings, completely.
Galadriel.
They changed because that was they made this one character who always has been. She's not a warrior. She's not a warrior. She's a fucking high priestess, elf witch, or whatever, right? All of a sudden, in her youth, she was a fucking warrior. Like, what was this?
And I agree with the gaslighting from GW. Like, if you don't like this, then you're implied as an obviously bad person. And it's like, no, that's not the fucking point.
You
'Cause
don't be
again,
out
to
here
reiterate-
calling people bigots because they're calling out your bullshit. Don't be
Yeah.
a bullshitter. How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's very very true. Like that's why I actually have to agree with Della, because like you said, it's just lazy, because it's like I'm okay. Like, I want more lore, more stories. You gonna go adding stuff. Like,
I'm all for a muscle mommy. Don't lie to me though. Don't lie to me.
Listen,
I will
hold on.
call your ass out.
I gotta clear the air. Muscle mommies do not exist. I've never seen one in real life. If you have, send pictures, because they don't.
I got a
exist.
whole folder full of. I
They
got a
don't
whole
exist.
folder.
They're only
That's a
in
good way to
anime
get some
and
pictures
movies.
there, Del.
They're
I got a
only in
whole
animes
folder.
and movies.
I got a whole folder full of cute Asian girls that are fucking bricked, dude.
I know one.
Yeah, that's only in
Bricked.
the movies and anime.
They got these cute little faces and these fucking crazy ass muscles, man.
I know one. I got a picture of one. You might like it though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Dead serious.
I was going to say Sisters of Battles are also pretty hench.
Sisters of
The
Battle are
example
my
I always
favorite.
use is if the difference between a space marine and a human is basically the difference between a human and a tank. That's the difference between a space marine and a human, right? The difference between a space marine and a sister of battle is an APC. It's still an armored car. Yes, it's not as powerful and as devastating as the tank, but it's fucking incredible compared to a human. That's the level of a sister of battle.
I don't know what's
Everyone's
gonna
like, we
happen.
want female space marines. We want female space marines. You have them already. They're called the Sisters of Battle.
Again, these people are tourists. They come in, they say, "Oh, this looks fun. Let me try. Oh, you know what? I think I should have this." They changed everything, and then when it's done, they go, "Okay, let me go to the next thing and ruin it." That's why I That's why I like when companies are like, no, we're not adding that. Why? It doesn't go with the fucking the whatever we're doing. Another perfect example. Look at fucking Helldivers.
Oh yeah, they
You
were
don't
like, "Fuck you and your fucking pride flag."
new no look, no. I'm not even talking about
But
that.
it's
I'm
fine
talking about
because
like
it's a fantasy world.
you
Pride
don't know
doesn't
what your
exist there.
Helldiver look like. Can you customize your Helldiver? Yes. Do you know what your Helldiver looks like? No. Can I tell it's a male or female? Only by the voice, and that's it. That's it.
Mhm.
You know what race is my Helldiver? Who the fuck cares? You're fighting a galactic war. You're
Yeah.
wearing
And
armor.
Yeah.
what's ironic is that that's what these people are cheering for. This is when people are like radically claiming they want equality. That's equality. That is
That
radical
is
equality.
exactly equality. That's all it
Mhm.
is. You're
Doesn't
stripped of
matter.
everything.
You have no
You all look alike.
individuality. You all wear the same thing. You all dress the same. You all say the same shit. You all are doing your best for the fucking company.
The
That and
only in
that's what they think equality is.
the only thing that makes you different is the cape that you wear and the armor you wear. That's the only thing that make you different. You want to stand out? Here's a nice cape. Here's some armor. Anything else, everybody is just but that and like that's the military at the end of the day. At the military, you're all the fucking same. You all wear the
Mhm.
same stupid ass uniform. The only people who are different are fucking special forces. But instead of special forces, they all look the same. Same ass stupid uniform, same ass stupid ass haircut. You're done. You're all the same. Helldivers, everybody's saying same helmets and capes. Why? Because Super Earth is the way to go. I don't care about what rate. I don't care about your race. I don't want to know if my hell diver's black or he fucking was a crackhead on the street. We have two shits.
They probably wanted to know who I was my first day playing. I went on a couple of missions. Then I said, you know what? I turned my gun to my own teammates. Said this is for democracy and killed all of them.
Exact. Like
They wasn't happy. They
I'm just
wasn't
tired of
happy.
everything. Everybody wants something, and but if you want something so badly, make it yourself.
Yeah.
Go do it yourself.
Yeah.
Word.
I've got no
But see
problem
what
with them
happens when
making. Go on.
see what happens when they make their own thing? It bombs.
Yeah.
And guess what? You know who doesn't support it? The people that you made it for. Doesn't that suck?
Shocker.
The people that you said you were making this game for didn't support your game. What was that game that came out not too long ago? And it fucking stunk?
Which one?
Forspoken.
No, no, no. It was some like African game called Zool or something, Zeal or some shit.
Oh, you talking about Legend of Zua? I believe it's called.
Yeah, flopped. Who are you making the game for? Who was that game for?
Never even heard it.
Exactly. Who was that game for? It stunk. The game sucked. The people that you made it for didn't support it because it was trash.
That and they don't buy games. They just want their ideology forced into
Exactly.
the games.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with selling comics. We want this type of character. Okay. Now do this to the character. Okay. Character's made. Comic flops.
Miss
Oh,
Faraday said he
people.
would debate you on that game being bad.
What?
That Zoo game. Because he actually played it. I know that.
Okay. And he's entitled to his opinion. You could say the game is good. It's fucking dog shit to me. There's people who fucking love a lot of games to death. And this, I'm pretty sure there's games I play you would say is dog shit. You're entitled to your opinion. But not every game is. Here's the thing about gaming. Gaming is for everybody. Not every game is for everybody, though.
Right, but it
Very
wasn't
simple.
you weren't talking about people's opinions or whether the game was good or not. It bombed. That's
Yeah.
an irrefutable fact. It bombed. So it doesn't matter if anyone liked it or not. The fact that nobody liked it is a hit on the company. And the question you pose is who was that game for? Who are they making that game for? What's the answer to that question? Who are they making that game for? What was their target demographic?
Who knows? I don't know.
So it probably came down to their shit marketing.
But again, I have no problem with them making a game for a certain demographic of people. I'm totes cool.
Yeah,
with
no, that's not a problem either. It was just the question he asked.
Yeah. Look at the
Oh,
game
yeah,
on
yeah.
Mafia 3. You ever play Mafia 3?
Yeah, I played all of them.
Mafia's a
That was
good
the one
game.
with the lead character was a veteran from Vietnam.
Mhm.
You literally went and killed a whole bunch of white people and the KKK.
Nice.
Yeah.
What more do you want? Red Dead Redemption, you did the same thing. You could literally find the KKK in the woods and clap them.
Yeah.
You're killing
Red
racists.
Dead. Red Dead
What-
Redemption 2 is a game everybody should play. It's so good. The story is honestly, I think it's one of the best games ever made.
I mean, don't even get me started on Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein, you literally kill Nazis all day. That's all you do is fucking kill Nazis. You go around killing Nazis.
Yeah.
Then when there's people that say, oh, there's not enough representation for blacks in movies. Blade was a black vampire killing white vampires. Majority of the vampires he killed were white.
Whiter than white.
Yes. What more represent? And he killed the whitest of the white vampires. He killed fucking Dracula. Like, what more representation? Django Unchained. Black slave was killing. It was what more like that shit was cool as fuck. Oh, well, we need a black Superman. No, the fuck we don't. We need a new fucking Black Panther. Panther.
Netflix made Cleopatra and Anne Boleyn black. Like literal historical people that were real. So let's just talk about fantasy. These were real women in history.
Mhm.
I'm tired of the fuck. Who's the actor who played M'Baku in fucking in Black Panther? He wants to play Batman. Okay, what Batman? Bruce Wayne. No, stop. Go play Nightwing. I mean, Batwing. Go play Icon. Go play John Stewart, Green Lantern.
Make
Go play
another.
original black
Yeah.
character.
Well, you actually kind of have a black Batman with Black Panther, but I mean, go make another Black Batman. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but taking
There
up
is a black Batman,
taking-
Azrael.
being another Black
ever-
Panther is gonna be hard.
Oh yeah,
Azrael
Azrael.
was a black dude who was he was part of that crazy Templar, those zealots,
Yeah,
and he took over for Batman. Say you want to do that, I
Yeah.
will be Batman, but Azrael. There you go.
Nobody cared about Samuel Jackson playing Nick Fury and any of that. And you know why?
You know why? Because they had it in the Ultimate Universe. There was a black
he
Nick Fury in
did
the
a
Ultimate
good
Universe.
fucking job playing Nick Fury. He played the fucking role. And there
When
wasn't
I
all
saw
that DEI shit shoved into it.
when they did Marvel Ultimate, it was a completely different universe, and they had a black Nick Fury. I was like, okay, cool. When I saw black Nick Fury in the movies, I was like, okay, they're doing the Ultimate Universe. I'm a black.
They got the perfect person for that damn role too. Dead serious.
I'm
He
just
did
saying-
well.
But what I'm saying with Black Panther is like when Chadwick Boseman died, it was like we're not gonna recast him. When Christopher Reeves got crippled, they came out with
Fucking
20 other
kicked by a
Supermen.
horse.
How many other Superman were there? Why is it that a black super when we get a black superhero, when the actor dies, like that's it. We ain't doing no more. We ain't replacing that guy.
I mean, can you really
Oh.
replace who did Black Panther though?
Yes,
Yes.
With
you
who?
replace Superman multiple times
With who?
Another
could-
black.
That could do it as
with
good
another
as him.
great black actor. There's a whole bunch of good black actors out there that could fucking replace
Pierce Brosnan.
Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman was good. Yes, I'm not going to doubt the man was good. God rest his soul. But there's other black actors that could take him. You could actually put another one in there.
Blasian
could
brings
replace-
forward
wait.
a good one.
You could replace Rhodey, right? Rhodey went from
Black Wesker. Remember when Netflix changed Wesker?
that was the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah.
They changed his role so bad. They turned him into like
Oh yeah,
this cucked daddy.
Oh, and they try to make it that it was a clone, but this game was based off of the end of part 5. So when he fell into the lava, he got darker. Oh no, it's way before that because he was always black during the Raccoon City incident. So
What?
Yep. We've always been at war with Eurasia.
yeah.
It's, I think, an attempt to rewrite history sometimes, but I try
well,
not to
they're
get too
rewriting history and they're looking
conspiratorial.
like idiots.
I'm still mad about Black Wesker, and I'm never letting it go.
That's why. Guess
Plagiarism.
what? That's why they didn't get a season 2 because it was fucking stupid.
Mm.
Well, that thing felt because Wesker is, sort of like the evil mastermind and the bad guy,
Yeah.
but because they DEI the role, they can't make him the bad guy
He
because
was
of
the bad guy
DEI.
though. He was the bad guy. Still.
Yeah, wasn't that bad of a bad guy. He wasn't.
Like, but I'm very picky when it comes to
He wasn't
villains.
destroy the world bad guy.
Yeah, I'm very picky when it comes to villains, bro. Like, a lot of this stuff they putting out and calling them bad guys and villains, just like, no, they're not.
It's wait, they changed the doc. Anybody watch Doctor Who?
Mm.
Yes. Well, I don't
Yeah.
watch it, but I'm very familiar with what you're about to bring up. Yes.
They changed Davos. They changed him because he was in a wheelchair and he was a handicap, and they changed him because they said it puts handicapped people in the light to be villains. So I was like, wait a minute.
No, it doesn't.
So Professor X
so-
don't count?
So Professor X is not a villain; he's a hero.
He's a hero.
So,
Exactly.
anyway.
So, what?
But so the thing is like, so you can't be
What's
a
that
person
movie?
who went through a tragic event, right?
Unbreakable? Is it Unbreakable or?
What about
Unbreakable, where Samuel L. Jackson is revealed at the end to be the villain. Yeah.
He's
Yes,
he's a
he was
vi-
always the
he's
villain,
in a
though.
wheelchair. He's in a wheelchair. He's crippled, and he's the villain. So
And he's a mastermind.
yeah, I just like. Where are those movies? That was such a good movie.
But the thing is, like, there's people who are new to the fucking the party, and they want to change things. So now Davos isn't handicapped anymore, even though it's part of his story. Okay, next thing you know, Professor Xavier can walk when he doesn't have his power. I still don't understand that. But they're like, oh, make Xavier black. Why?
At least that part was actually a part of the story, though. Because they even had that in the original 97.
I know, it's always in the comics, but why are we changing characters, their race or their background, or even so? It's this whole thing like everybody wants to feel included. You are included. You are. You can see yourself as this character without this character looking like you in a way.
Yeah, no.
You need to relate to their struggle.
Cause
Yeah.
I bet you if they make Storm white, I guarantee you every black person on the damn planet gonna start acting like all of a sudden they care about Storm. I put money on it.
Ororo.
I'm over it. I'm tired. I'm done.
That's why I can get where he coming from with it. I get it. When the talk had like, oh yeah, some of us actually like that. Don't worry about that. No, and here's the thing. It's like we bringing up black characters all that. Storm don't get enough attention. Luke Cage, Black Lightning,
Luke Cage.
Static
let's
Shock.
go.
They don't get no attention.
Bro,
Spawn.
I'm about to blow your mind. I'm about to blow
Bro,
everybody's mind that's
Spawn.
watching this.
Spawn is
There
the
is
truth, bro.
There's a black superhero. His name is Icon, right?
Mhm.
Icon. Look him up. He came to Earth, landed in a plantation during slavery, and instead of turning himself white, he made himself black. He was a slave. He helped free the slaves. He fought in the Civil War. He's been a black man since fucking the 1800s, right?
Mhm.
Works in like I forgot like a fake area like that's supposed to be Harlem in DC. He's a lawyer and he helps fight black crime and everything. He's a black Superman pretty much. Why do we get a movie on him yet?
Because it would show this disparaging rate at which black on black crime just like he'd just be taking
No.
out other black people.
No, you know what it be? You know what it show? Black people don't really give a fuck about black characters.
Mm-mm. I mean,
That's
they
what it shows
turned,
because
they
they're
made
not
Domino
confident.
black, and I'm just like,
They ain't confident in it.
well, I
Maybe
know,
it's because they are all like, listening to Pound Town and stuff.
No,
I mean, they turned Domino on Deadpool black. Mind you, she did it perfectly fine. It's just like Domino's white, y'all.
I think it's a cultural thing for sure.
I just want to see original black characters on the screen. I don't want hand-me-downs. I don't want
Exactly.
hand-me-downs.
I love
I'm tired of hand-me-downs.
story.
Spawn's
Huh?
is fucking epic, dude. Spawn's the truth, bro.
Yeah.
Spawn was great.
I
War
loved
hero.
that.
Betrayed.
Yeah.
Loved his wife so much, loved his family so much. He was like, I'll join the army of hell. I'll lead it. I just want to get back to my wife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was.
Such
a war hero.
fucking great.
Just to
Soldier of
end up
fortune.
going against heaven and hell,
And
all
yeah,
because of his wife.
and he's
Yeah.
guess what? He's a black man.
Yep.
But at any point, did that matter?
No,
No.
it was
Or was
just
it just a fucking good story? A
it was a
fucking
good
brilliant story.
and people could relate to it. If people could relate
Yeah.
to that, like the struggle, like I need to get back.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted. I want to get back. Then when he got back, it was like they don't know who he is, and he can't tell them. And like when he does, they're like, "You're not the same anymore." Then he has to fight heaven and hell,
Mm-hmm.
and he was fighting
Mhm.
crackheads in the army. He was fighting superpower crackheads. Like, look at half of Spawn's enemies. It's just a whole bunch of people who have fucked up stories.
Yep. Even the
But we
ones that
can't-
was
we don't-
actually hunting them.
Yeah. And I think Angela was like another a soldier that died and that brought back to life. Then you find out her story. It's fucked up.
Yeah, because didn't she become a spawn hunter, if I'm not mistaken?
She became a hell spawn too. Eventually.
If I remember right. Yeah. I don't know why they don't redo Spawn. They need to. But
Redo Spawn and then make him white. Let's see how people feel.
because even hell, the HBO series still get talked about.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing about Spawn is I don't think it would matter. It's such a, again, as you say, Del, it's about the struggle. And you don't see the
Exactly.
character's face for most of the time anyway.
And when you do see his face, it's burnt.
Yeah.
It's deformed.
Okay.
But I guarantee you, bro, if they made Spawn white, if they said Spawn is back and he's white, everybody
yeah.
who's anybody would be like, he was black, the white people stole this from us.
The crazy
Yeah.
part is,
Guaranteed.
here's the crazy thing about that though. I don't think Tom McFarlane would let that happen. If you know that dude history, he would not let that happen.
Like, I don't know. And then another thing I would like to see is like stories where black characters are just being people, not dealing with real world struggles.
I'm kind of over the stereotyping shit too.
Yeah,
I'm not
you ever
too-
saw the movie?
Mm.
What's that? It's called Day something, with Jamie Foxx, and he's like a vampire hunter.
No, I know what you're talking about though.
You guys saw that? Devious Luna.
I don't
Say it again?
think so. It doesn't ring
What
a
is
bell.
it?
Really good movie. Really good movie.
What is it called again?
I don't even know. I gotta find the name. Hold on.
Angelic said there is a documentary on Hulu called Black Twitter: A People's History.
Yeah, that's not going to be biased or anything.
Savage said it's called. He think it's called Day's Job.
What was the quote from, was it Netflix? I don't care what they tell you all at school. Cleopatra was black.
Yeah, it's called Day Shift. It's called Day Shift.
Day Shift.
Day shift. No, that doesn't
Project
ring
Power. Project Power is another good movie. They
Fine.
Clone Tyrone was a fucking fantastic movie.
They clone Tyrone. All right, I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look them three up. Dead serious. I'm gonna have to, cause that sounds really, really, really interesting.
You're gonna watch They Clone Tyrone. You're gonna put on a tinfoil hat. I'm telling you. You're gonna put on a tinfoil hat after watching that movie.
At this point, it wouldn't surprise me.
Because I was like, I believe it.
Oh God, you just reminded me.
What?
The Robin Hood remake.
Another
Oh,
one?
yeah.
Yeah, the Robin Hood remake where all the cast are black, so it's Robin in the Hood.
Oh God, no! I didn't even bother.
And isn't that like the show, in the desperate attempt to not be racist, they make people racist because all of the black characters are people who steal. The show
Yeah,
opens with them
At
stealing.
this point,
That's
they just want to claim that
that's
it's
racist
racist,
as
but what
fuck.
it really is that it's pattern recognition. And when you have a particular group out in the world doing particular things because the media they consume is a particular thing, you're going to have some kind of skewed, cultural effect there. Look at the music these kids are listening to. Look at the shows that they watch. I mean, you brought up a black show that just has them going through their daily lives. We had that in Family Matters. And now Bill Cosby is getting run through the system because he's a rapist.
Fresh
It's
Prince.
it is literally upsetting to people because sometimes it's not actual racism. It's pattern recognition. You notice these patterns and that's what freaks people out. And that's what keeps the stereotype alive. That's why I try to tell people, like, just be aware of the bias, just be aware that it's just a cultural thing. Don't let people get to you. The king move is to not react, really. You just have to know what the truth is and that not everybody is that thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Don't paint people with the same brush. Everybody's an individual for the most part, you know? And that's what people really forget. They let the pattern recognition really seep in, especially right now. Like, everybody is really starting to notice with things like the internet. We have the ability to see what's going on more than ever. The rate at which we get information is unlike any other time in all of our human history. So when people see that kind of behavior, that kind of cultural revolution happening in a particular group, it's easy to sit there and say, "Oh, they're the victim, they're oppressed." But I think it's a choice in this country. I think you can choose to be a victim and you can choose to be a survivor. And I think really that's the
Thank you.
core of it. That's the core of it. It doesn't matter who you are, you can make the choice. The mentality you have about things and about people around you is really what matters.
A
And you
lot of
just
people
can't
forget
paint
that.
everyone with the same brush.
A lot of people really forget that a lot of things boil down to choice at the end of the day.
And you know who's the worst? Fucking white middle class women. Okay? You want to talk about the biggest victims on the fucking planet? I live in America and I want 50K a year and all these black people this and Asians that and bit. Just shut the fuck up. Shut up, bitch. Shut up. Shut your mouth. They are the worst. You want to talk about the biggest victims on this planet? They are middle class white bitches with white guilt. And they want to be they have got hero complexes. They think they can save everybody, especially black people. So fuck them. They're part of the problem too, perpetuating this white guilt nonsense, which I'm sure pisses black people off. Like, I don't think black people really want to sit here and be like, yeah, white people save us. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
hear some of these TikToks and they're like, white people shouldn't be happy. In fact, they should be miserable and they should spend all their time building up money and giving it to black people so that they can go on vacation and this and that. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you want that? Like, why would you want that? Because you're young and you don't know how the world works. It's that simple. It has nothing to do with anyone's skin color. You're just young and dumb. Like everyone at some point in their life. You know what I mean? Morgan Freeman said it best. How he was asked the question, how do we end racism? He says, by not talking about it. You stop
Exactly.
calling me a black man, I'll stop calling you a white man. And that's how you end it.
Mhm.
I
You end
actually
it
agree with
in your
Morgan
own
Freeman.
life. You take your own steps to doing it. And that's it.
It,
And that's
I'm
that.
gonna have to get out of here,
it,
guys.
it
Again,
starts with
the
you.
sun's getting real low.
Yeah. We about on
The
that
sun
note.
is still out here, if you can see,
Yeah,
in
it's not
Yeah,
California.
you behind
California.
me in
As
Dallas.
this middle class white with her son. I wish I was middle class. I'm poor as fuck. I'm just a bum, really. I'm just a pretty bum.
All right,
I
y'all.
got $6 in my bank account. Help.
Della, where can these people find you?
You don't find me.
Don't find me.
Don't.
He's on YouTube and he streams on Twitch
No, I do not.
sometimes. Sometimes he
Nope.
does. When a
Nope.
game he likes comes out, he streams it.
That
No.
is true.
I like Rise of the Ronin. You don't see me streaming it.
He streamed Armored Core, and that was pretty recent.
Mm-hmm.
Armored Core feels like forever ago now.
That's because you work.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, I was about an hour behind. Well, Devious has no social media because Devious is Devious. But if you want to find him, you can usually find him with Luna when she streams and does stuff.
I know how to get him under the rock he lives under. Same with Dell. You might be able to find Dell hanging around me sometimes.
If you find me, I'll give you $2.
He also charged me $2 just to be on this podcast, y'all.
Yeah, I want my $2.
Luna, where can all these lovely people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch, you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on YouTube. I stream on YouTube and Twitch. I multi-stream every once in a while, but I mostly do art when I'm doing the streaming. Devious is usually there co-hosting, hanging out with the chat, keeping things moving and stuff. It's just LunaLaVinci everywhere. You know, simple, basic stuff. That's where I'll be. And I do have a Discord, but you'll have to come to the stream in order to get the Discord. So, yeah. There's that.
Yo,
Thank you for having me, Riddler.
Yeah.
It was fun. I
You're
really
welcome.
enjoyed the
Good chat,
combo.
good chat.
It was fun.
Yeah, really good chat. I learned some things.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
G.I.
Now I know.
Thank you. Somebody got it.
The more you know.
All right, y'all. This has been another session of Coffee Conversation, y'all. I want to thank y'all for coming back to your questions. Give me your comments. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. Next week, might end up having another one. Make sure keep tabs. As always, be sure to check out my social media. As you always know, I keep everything in order for you to look at and everything else. And also be sure to check out these three lovely people as well if and when you have the time. They links are in the description. You know, that's how I do things here. That way it's easy access for you to be able to find them and check them content as so your desire. Y'all take care of each other. Stay out of bad trouble. Good trouble as always. I highly recommend it. Theme is okay. Till next time, y'all. We out of here. Yeah.
Bye.